It's time. It's so time. It's been time. Good to see you guys. Telex here. We're going to have a fun show tonight. Malt Muser is going to be joining us here shortly. He's wrapping up his happy hour. And we're going to be having some fun with one of my favorite blenders, we'll say. I don't usually get into a lot of blended whiskey, but Compass Box is. Been doing some great stuff for quite a while now, and been lucky enough to have a bit of different options from them, and even got to meet John Glacier once, which was really cool. Courtesy thanks to the Scotch for Dummies. This was 2018, so it's been a few years, but I learned a lot when I was there, and especially about blending just in general. And we went over the story of the Spaniard and the Spaniard. Both bottles got lucky enough to partake in both of those, so it's going to be fun. Hey, good to see you, Daniel. Good to see you, Tim, and James and Meister. All right, all right, all right. Yep, Compass Box time. I was just saying, got lucky enough to meet John Glacier in 2018, December, I believe was the last time I was up. That was the New York trip, and that was really really fun. Got to do the story of the Spaniard and the Spaniard, and that was like a 1 out of 300 bottles. That was crazy, but had a good time. Learned a bit about blending, and I'll be talking to you guys about that shortly. I happen to have a bottle of the Kleinleich 14 here, which John, when we were chatting, I was like, you know what? I noticed you like to use Kleinleich in some of these bottles. What is it? What is the secret? What is the reason? Is it because I thought it was to get that waxy kind of texture to the whiskey, but he calls it like a thickener. Um, I guess it's kind of like giving a little more substance, a little more oomph to the blend, which I appreciate. I love Kleinleich, and I had a little something I was going to start off with tonight for Malt joins us here. Let me go ahead and send him in the invite. But just for curiosity's sake, I've always been, wanting to tinker with some doing some of my own blends, but I never really had the whiskeys to, I think, do it correctly. This is one you kind of have to have if you're going to go for more of a well-rounded, nice, waxy texture, or the it's 46% ABV, so it's really already good. I recently picked up a whiskey that I honestly I wasn't too like excited about, but I thought, there's nothing wrong with the Cardew 12, per se. It's I think it's a nice average whiskey. So I thought, let's get the 18, and I've been enjoying it on the side. It comes in at 40 ABV, and that's on the low side of things. And I thought, you know what, for just the first, just to see what happens, let's take a little bit of our Kleinleich 14 that we've been nosing for a while, and it's got great, superb nose. It's got the fruits, it's got vanilla, it's got, oh, we haven't done a review yet, but it's really, really nice, and we'll be going into depth on that one, as well as this Cardew 18 at some point. But I poured out some Cardew 18 as well, and let's have a little blend action here and see what happens. I did taste it and kind of put it through the motions before, and that's a big pour. That's a nice pour. That's a Telex pour. I thought, well, let's give it a little kind of a blend and see what we get out of it. See if it's the better of if this enhances the Cardew 18, or does it bring it down, or is it kind of a wash? Is it a bit of a blur where it doesn't really make as much difference? That's kind of the part of the fun for blending. Clanleash, is it natural color? That is a good question. I think yes, and if I remember correctly, yes, Diageo definitely does this because that was in the Game of Thrones release series. They're not ones to be very open about their process when it comes to coloring chill filtration. I've noticed since they do not have anything on the label to tell you one way or another, I would be suspect to maybe. I don't think they overcolor it per se. I think it's one of those things where if there's any coloring, it's for consistency only, possibly. But let's have a little deal here. Mouthfeel blending, then use Clanleash. Why not? Yeah, it's like it kind of. I think it'll enhance the whiskey a bit. And shout out to Indigo Ingot. I'm not sure how you pronounce that, but yes, Planet Telex is here. I'm a huge fan, as you can tell, and I was lucky enough to. I've been involved with the in and out of the waste management deal with. I don't work for them or nothing, but I've just been a big fan since they were pretty much started with Pablo Honey and the bins. So I've always been privy to try to get some of their merchandise pretty quickly. Okay. I do like the fact that it enhanced the mouthfeel. I love the waxiness. I still get some of the, and I'm not going to go into too much detail, some of the chocolate raisins and spice that I get with the Cardio 18, but I am getting the fruit and the vanilla that I'm getting off the Clanleash 14. So I think it's a bit of a plus. And speaking of pluses, let's bring him in here. What's up, man?
What up?
How's it going, Holmes?
Going well, brother. It's going well. Good to see you, Telex.
You too. Let me get my chair situated here in order. Sorry about that.
Get yourself comfortable, man. Get yourself comfy.
I gotta get loosey goosey.
Well, we'll get you there whether you're planning to or not. So.
Oh, I've got big plans.
What you sipping on there?
I did. I was just talking about how I was lucky enough to meet John Glazer up in New York in 2018, and I had a kind of a sidebar discussion with him about Clanleash 14. It's one of my favorites. He likes to use it as a thickener for the whiskeys when he's blending.
A thickener, huh?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be more for like the texture, like the waxy, beautiful, velvety goodness you get off of Clanleash. But he's like, well, you're on the right track, but it's more of like a thickener, more of like a good base. And I always think of Clanleash 14 as the bass guitar of blending. So I thought I'll take that, and I had some Cardio 18. We haven't touched either one of these yet. I told them we're going to review them separately later. But I thought, I wonder if it would enhance the Cardio 18 at all if I kind of do it at my own little blend of the two. So I just popped them together right now, and I've been kind of enjoying it. It's a kind of a pleasant surprise, we'll say.
I was talking about another whiskey that's heavily kept in some of these whiskeys, these blends, which is our good friend Kalila.
Oh yeah, huge, big time. I guess they almost have like the perfect peat type to blend with, because it's got that. It's not too medicinal. It's not too smoky. It's not too really anything. Plus, it's got that kind of earthy vegetal nature to it. I'm wondering if that's why it's used often. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree, and it's obviously Diageo, and like they make a ton of stuff anyways. So they're like I think the biggest output of all the Isla distilleries. So it doesn't surprise me in the least that they're the ones that you. I mean, and that would be good for blending too, right? Like they don't have a ton of. I don't want to say unique.
Yeah, if you had if you were thinking about Clanleash 14, and have you had that by itself yet? Already, I'm just curious.
Which one?
The Clanleash 14.
Oh yeah. I'm a big fan. I like it.
If you were thinking of what whiskey, and it doesn't have to be anything like extravagant. It could be like, even an NAS. What would be like a whiskey that you think that you would like to see it married with, just to see what it would do? If is there anything?
I would love to see, like, that's a great question. I would love to see how that would work with. I'm trying to think of a very like light. Well, hang on, let me think. I mean, honestly, I would love to see how that would play with something like a. God damn it! It's at the tip of my tongue now, and my like a Bladnock, or like a Lowland whiskey.
Yeah,
just to like give it a bit more of that heft,
like an Auchentoshan type of thing, maybe.
Yep.
I mean, I wonder if it could save. Like, I know you're not the biggest fan of their profile. They're really kind of a triple distilled, rolled Lowland-esque, typical distillery. So I'm wondering if, that's a good point. Maybe we'll have to do a little side blend with an Auchentoshan if you ever have any enough to blend with.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Have you guys ever done any blend? I know Indie Indigo is talking about doing Clynelish with gin. That would be interesting. I'm not sure how that would go, but I wouldn't say no to anything unless I try it. That would be interesting. What do you guys? He said blasphemy. I don't know. That's a kind of a, maybe that was just definitely a joke. But what if you guys were if you were thinking like, what would Clynelish, that type of heavy waxy thing, what would it go with? This Cardew 18 actually is almost perfect because it's only 40% ABV. It's got a higher age in it, so it brings that 14 up a little bit, but it does have some refinement where you get some like chocolate raisins and things like kind of like a little bit of a spice kick. So I think it kind of goes together with the fruits and vanillas and florals you get with the Clynelish. Kind of makes it more of a, maybe even more complex than, by itself on both sides. So it's kind of an interesting, kind of a fun deal to try.
Most definitely, man. Mm. And speaking of fun and interesting things to try, we got two killer whiskeys, in my opinion, to check out tonight. So I'm thinking, since it is more expensive, but since it's not peated, we would start with the Compass Tree Extravaganza. What do you think about that?
Yes, I definitely agree. And just a quick answer for Ben, I would say, unless you're a peat head, stay away from, the Kalila and Talisker off the gate. If you only like, typical Highlander Speyside type scotches, definitely go for the Clynelish first. But if you already know you like peat, just depends. If you like a briny, salty peat, I go Talisker, like a, peppery peat. But if you like more of a vegetal, earthy peat, then go Kalila. That would be the easiest way to look at that.
Vegetal. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I don't get as much vegetal notes on Kalila as some do, but I know what you're saying. The earthiness, definitely. There's some herbaceousness to it, though.
And I'm not saying you need to blend anything with Clynelish, Steve, and I agree. I love Clynelish 14 neat as it is, but I'm just saying if you have another whiskey out there that could be helped by another whiskey, the Clynelish whiskey is one that will do you some justice. It's great to have a bottle of this at all times for that reason, in my opinion, but that's just me.
Yeah.
I don't. That's a good call. We're going to look at Dufftown eventually. I don't have my own bottle of Dufftown, and that's one of the distilleries that I would love to get. What'd you say, man?
I love Dovetail. The barrel Dovetail?
No, the Dufftown.
Oh, Dufftown. Yeah, that one I don't know as much about.
I'm gonna get us a bottle of that to take a look. That's a distillery we haven't tried yet, but it is on my radar definitely to give it a distillery try first, and then we'll take a look at an independent bottling probably at some point there.
Word.
But yeah, the Spice Tree, man, I was excited to hear because I've never tried either one of these. I have had a peat monster previously, and I believe I have had the regular Spice Tree in.
Yeah, so that's a great segue because the whiskey that we're looking at here first is the Compass Box Spice Tree Extravaganza, and for those who have had the Spice Tree, This one will throw you off a little bit. This is not nearly as spice tree-like as you would expect. It's a much different whiskey. It comes in a tube like this. Of course, tons of great art on it, as always with Spice Tree or with Compass Box. Let me give you the tail of the tape. 46% non-chill natural color. It does not tell you a whole hell of a lot about what it is aged in. And so since we don't want to, I didn't look it up, but I can just tell you straight up, it's much different than the Spice Tree. It's a limited edition, blah, blah, blah. These retail around $130, $120. Let's see here. Yeah, they don't, surprisingly, they don't tell you much on the tube. Let me just take a look at the bottle. Again, great looking Compass Box bottle, right? Aren't they always? Let's see here.
Big time, yeah.
It's John Glazer talking about how, yeah. So it doesn't tell you. It doesn't tell you much. I mean, we would have to look it up online, and maybe we can do that afterwards.
I've already got it up here. If you want me to give you,
go for it.
This one's pretty elaborate, man. It's got 6 different parts to it. So think of like take a whiskey bottle and divide it by 6 different sections. 4 of them are pretty big, and 2 of them are really small. The first one is a first fill sherry butt. 32.6 of this is from Glen Ord. It's a rich sherry wine, decadent type of thing. And then you've got another first fill sherry butt, but this one's from Ben Rennes. It's 17.2%. Peach, apricot, soft fruit. So then you got this first fill American standard from Altavania, 2.6, a very small amount. You've got the light medium toast hybrid casks of their Highland blend, which is basically the Tinnick, Dalliawayne, and Clynelish distilleries. It's like 60% Clynelish, 20 of the Dalliawayne, and 20 of the Tinnick. It's their own little Highland blend they use, and it's 27.7% of that with the light medium toast hybrid cask. They also have another of the same blend in a refill hybrid cask is 4.3% volume. And then 15.6, the last part, is a heavy toast hybrid cask of the same 3 distillery. It's insane, man. It's almost like looking at a calculus problem. It's crazy.
So there ain't much coming up. I mean, not much going on in this bottle.
Oh my gosh! I mean, sometimes he does keep it simple, and he'll do like a 20% of Ardbeg and a 20% of Kalila and like one thing of something else. But sometimes he goes crazy like this one, and he's got all sorts of different things going on. It's nuts.
Yeah,
it sounds good though. I mean, it's a lot going on. I mean, I mean, there's so much. There's sherry, there's fruit, there's marshmallows. I mean, they're talking like spicy cloves. It's all over the place on this, so it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
That's a nice looking color on that. I'm not sure if, I mean, I would doubt that they would bother coloring anything.
Yeah. No, it is. It's natural color. It says it explicitly on here. It is non-chill filtered as well.
Ooh, nice medium running legs on that too. What'd you say the ABV on this was?
46.
46 out of the gate. 12,240 bottles. Wow.
Yeah. And this is, I mean, it's not a whiskey that's like, like limited, hard to find necessarily, but it's not like exclusive, like you'll never find it. I think they still put it out somewhat on the regular, and it is somewhat available, but it is not as easily to find as the regular Spice Tree. And I think what you're going to notice right away on this Telex is how not Spice Tree complete as it is. It's very different.
It's funny. It's like I've got it's almost like it's better balanced with this version to me, because I do get spices, but I also get this beautiful ginger-esque floral note going on that's almost equal to it. Wow. Yeah, this was in August 2016 when they said it was bottled. I'm not sure if it's just so many of them and that's why it's still available. But if you haven't if you do see it, I would definitely, if it's for a decent price, it might be worth a look. We'll have to see. I like the combination of the fruits and the florals and the spice that I'm getting on the nose. A little bit of a tea bag in there too, ooh, peaches. A little bit of that tea is becoming more and more brewed. It's almost like it's getting like thicker and thicker the more I'm nosing it. Huh. It's funny because the nose starts out real nice. It starts out really nice and airy, and then the more I nose it, the more like thicker and earthier it gets. It's interesting. Might even be some coffee in there. Very faint in the back. That's wild. Are you getting any like roasted notes from it at all?
I mean, there's like a barbecue thing that I pick up in this, which is weird, and I don't know why or where it's coming from, but it's there.
Get like a roasted chestnut kind of a feel, like a roasted nut or something. That's wild. Huh. It's almost like, you ever had coffee ice cream?
Yeah.
For some reason, I'm getting this like, it's not like a mocha note. It's not even like a cappuccino note, but it's a subtle, like real light roasted coffee note. But it's like a ice creamy vanilla coffee. Wow. Reminds me of those. You ever had a Thai iced tea before? We have the really thick,
yeah.
the condensed milk, and you've got the tea, and you've got that combination of heavy sweetness, but you also got the earthiness together. This is what that reminds me of a bit.
Yeah, there's so much going on. Like, this is an incredibly complex nose.
All right, man. Let's have a sippy.
Let's do it.
Happy Tasty Tuesday to everybody, and I really appreciate you guys hanging out with us and having a sippy. Okay. Wow. That's interesting. It's like the spice is there, but yeah, it's so much more. It's so much more of the sweetness and the fruit and the wow. It's very creamy and more vanilla than I expected it to be.
Mm-hmm.
Sippy 40 there, James. Can't just have two. Wow.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, the spice is definitely there. I mean, it's almost like part ginger snaps, like a ginger snap with a cinnamon, a little bit of subtle cinnamon, not in your face, but it's more gingery and nutmeggy than it is cinnamon to me.
There is, yeah, and the other thing I want to mention is like the almond paste marzipan kind of like almost manzanilla character of this.
Big time, yeah. And I think the spice really goes well with it. I think I prefer, if I'm going to have a manzanilla cask type of deal, like that Tomori 21. I did like it, but I think it would have been even better if it had more of a spicy thing going on, like this one does have that spice kick. That would have catapulted that dram. It was already like a 4.25 or 5 for me, but it really would have knocked it even up to like a 4.75 if it had that spiciness with that real sweet and kind of funky side note on that manzanilla cask.
Yeah, definitely.
I can't believe how sweet this is in a good way. I mean, I have a sweet tooth, so for me, it's a good thing. But I wonder do you think some people would be turned off by the sweetness of it, or do you think I do think it's well balanced. Graham crackers, wow. S'mores, even. It's got a little chocolate going on. It's like a milk chocolate, though.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Definitely some bourbon castings going on with the caramel and the butterscotch and stuff like that, but it's almost deceptively easy to drink at 46. It doesn't taste lower than that, but this is it's got such a sweet profile for me. It's almost scarily easy to drink. It's like being like a great liqueur without the cloyingly sweet. I mean, it's got the spiciness. I think really well, separates all that out. It's better balanced, but wow. What did you say this ran again?
A bottle of this you're looking at around like 120 to 130, give or take. I mean, it depends. I really think what's interesting about this, and Telex, your notes are fantastic on this. Like, there's so much going on that it's almost as if it's like difficult to like pin down completely. It really is difficult because like there's so much happening here. Like every time I go into nose it, there's something different. I'm picking up like buttered toast right now. Other times it's like I sip it and there's like sherry notes. It's really and this may sound to folks as like this is a whiskey that's just like complicated and like all over the place and doesn't know what it is. Somehow there's a coherency to it all, and that's a roundedness and a fullness of all of these flavors that I think is just really, really well done.
Oh yeah, I'm kind of honestly. I mean, I've had lots of blends before, and I've even had a lot of Compass Box releases over the years, and this one is like one of my surprisingly like it kind of blew me away how. Like you said, it's like even though there's so much going on and there's a complex blend, it all makes sense together. Even though the parts, like you can dissect a lot of stuff going on. All the notes I was going through
And that
how
milk
they made
chocolate,
it.
you were saying that milk chocolate is just like
Wait,
so good.
all these little parts that I was talking about earlier. I can actually, it's crazy, but I can get that grilled marshmallow if I just think to myself, separate that out, and I can get that spicy, rich clove goodness, and I can get all these little things that they're talking about. But wow, I mean, I don't understand how he even thought to do it this way because it's really kind of all over the place if you think about it.
Yep.
And you guys, if you want to follow along, all you got to do is go to the Compass Box site and find the one that says Spice Tree Extravaganza, and you can download the recipe right there, and it'll have a nice PDF for you where you can look at it. That's what's great about these guys. They don't shy away from trying to hide what the age or the type or the percent or the anything of what they're putting in there.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's a good place. And like normally they're one of these distilleries that is like radically transparent.
I'm gonna add a little. I mean, I don't think the water is probably gonna do much with it. I could be wrong, but
Let's do it.
I'm gonna add just a couple of drops because this is 46%. You definitely don't want to damage it. Don't damage the goods, bro. Let's see. Just a little bitty bit. This is what great about the old eyedroppers is you can really control that water. See if it. I'm wondering because usually it enhances spice when you add water. I've noticed most of the time to whiskey, but this is already so spicy. I wonder if it's going to enhance like maybe the bourbon notes in the cask, or if it's going to enhance the fruit, or if it's going to enhance the something else like that. Maybe the smokiness that happens sometimes. Believe it or not, when you put water in an already smoky whiskey, sometimes it can actually intensify it. Believe it or not, or make it more ashy.
Yep.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's think it brought out more.
I get more spice, more wood spice, more cinnamon, more like even hints of like it's not even clove, it's like allspice.
Huh. For me on the nose, I was getting more of like I was getting marshmallows and like a fruit. Almost reminded me of like a Japanese whiskey type of nose when I went up to the first time, and then when I went back again, then that spice wave came through, and I was getting more of the spicy notes. You were right, man. Every time you approach this, you don't know what you're gonna get, but whatever you get's good.
Yeah, it's a beguiling. Is that one of those words?
Yeah, now I'm getting
So
like
Andrew Page says he's been eyeing Extravaganza for 125. Worth it? Well, sit tight on that, Andrew Page. You'll probably hear from us in a couple minutes on that.
Yeah, sorry. Now I'm just amazed because I'm going back and now I'm getting like peaches, vanilla ice cream, and oranges. I swear to God, every
There's
time
a
I
lot
come
of
back.
orange. You ever had orange sherbet?
Yeah, I love it, man. It is
Or like, yeah, it's a ton of it. The creaminess, the sweetness, the like borderline artificialness. I don't know what you want to call it, but
yeah, it's not like bad, but it does have. It's not like a chemical, but it does have like a. I don't want to say processed either, but it's more of like the ultra on the heavier on the vanilla side with the fruit and the cream. It's like the vanilla is so heavy with this that it I could see where people that don't like sweet dreams might not be into it as much as I am. But if you do like a sweet dream, holy wow, this is really good.
yeah, totally.
Ah, man. I just love that nose. All right, with the water after the palate. It didn't really change much for me on the palate. Did you get any change on the palate after the water?
Not a lot. It's a little drier. It's a little more cinnamon, but not a lot.
Yeah. Say again?
Not a lot. Not a lot of difference.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I got a little more of like the aftertaste of like a spice. Like after you've ate, already drank the eggnog with the cinnamon in it, and the aftertaste of that maybe. Going back neat just to see if how the palate is, if it's better. I think I'm going to enjoy it more neat on the palate, but it's interesting how it changes on the nose.
Man, what a delicious whiskey!
It is, man. That's very tasty as is. I would only add water if you're interested in maybe changing the nose a little bit, just maybe enhance the nose a little bit, give you more of more dimensions to it, but yet it definitely doesn't need it, and I definitely don't like it after, on the palate as much, but it's fun to play with it on the water on the nose.
God, there's this really nice. The finish, it's almost like a maraschino cherry meets like a maraschino drizzle on a cinnamon roll. Like it's like there's a little bit of cherry, but there's this just delicious dark cinnamon, this killer sweetness. It's just great.
That's how like this is how scary this dram is, man. I drank that like pretty quickly, and
Nice.
I was like, wow. I mean, I enjoyed it more neat, but man, I love the play with the nose and the water. It changed every time we went back to it, with and without the water on the nose. The nose is my favorite thing about it, but the palate's damn good, and the finish is damn good too. It's like it's amazing. It starts out like 5 out of 5 on the nose, and then to me it goes like maybe 4-ish on the palate, and in the finish I'm still debating on what I want to give, but man, it's damn good.
I agree. I'm pouring myself another couple of drops here, but since it was my pour Telex, when you're ready, you go right ahead with your final thoughts. I think folks can expect respectable scores here on the Compass Box Extravaganza. Again, like it does retain, it's 46% non-chill natural. I mean, like you just can't, those are the types of stats you like to see on a whiskey these days.
Big time, big time. That's some of the greatest parts about it is the craft is good, that they took the time to do the blend correctly. It definitely wasn't half-assed. It definitely wasn't rushed. This doesn't feel like it felt like they really took their time and did everything correctly with this blend. And I'm surprised at 120, man. I think it's a damn good price. I don't know if I would go above 135-ish, but I think 120. I mean, you're getting it at 46 out of the gate. It's already put together perfectly. I would maybe enjoy it even more if it was 48 or 50, but it's still,
But Christ, these days, I mean, it's 46, right? What can you ask for?
Exactly. So it's really, I mean, I can't bitch about that by any means. I was just trying to think of anything I'm trying to think of ways I could knock it for anything. I mean, that's really, I mean, I know it's not like an age statement per se. That's the only other thing that you don't really know what the age of the whiskey is. But I've heard, and someone might have already done this in the comments. If you have, please go ahead and feel free to chat. But if you write to them and say, hey, could you give me more information about this particular blend, they will actually give you the ages of the whiskey. So
yeah, I've heard that too.
That's one thing that I could, if I really wanted to know, I really could dive in there. And they're pretty good about using, I've noticed they might use some young stuff. We're talking like 7-ish on the age, and it's probably their smaller sections. The big 4 that they're using with this blend, I would not be surprised if we're ranging anywhere from like 12 to 15, even maybe 18 possibly on one little part, but most of it seems like it's 12 to 15 to me on the ages, but I could be way off. I'm completely guessing on some of this stuff. It's such a nice thick taste. I'm surprised it would be anything really heavily aged, unless it's some of the that hybrid cask that they were using on the blend. Maybe they had some of that well aged, but it's tough to really say. Oh man, I want to say after with it, I enjoyed it both ways with the nose. Definitely more neat with the water. I mean, with the palate. Finish is decent. I wish it did maybe last a little bit longer. I'd say it's medium for me.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, I think it's a solid 4.25. I think a 4.25. I really like this one, but I have a sweet tooth. I think that makes a difference. But I just really appreciate all the different notes I was getting, and that they all made sense. It didn't feel disjointed. It felt like it was a good story to tell.
Yep.
What do you think, man?
I'm totally right there with you, man. 4.25 is a great score. My final thoughts here are like, this is a very different whiskey than the Spice Tree in that it has more complexity. It has just a lot more going on, but it does retain some of the Spice Tree quality, most notably the cinnamon, the nutmeg, the allspice, that kind of creamy dessert, spicy. When I say spicy, I want to be clear. This is not a spicy whiskey like you just drink a high rye bourbon where it's like, oh God, like intense sharp spice. These are well-rounded spices. This is like you're almost drinking like a spicy, creamy sauce, right? Like it has it's all rounded off a bit. So with that said, I think this is a definite step up from the regular Spice Tree. It's a unique whiskey in its own right, but it retains some of that quality. I think this is honestly one of the better. And now I've not had every single Compass box. There's so goddamn many of them these days. But my God, this is good. At 46% non-chill natural, we're looking at, right around that $120 mark. I mean, it is a little bit pricey for a blend, but you are getting a well-crafted labyrinth of a whiskey, really. And I think all in good ways. I'm gonna sit at a 4 out of 5 on this, and I think I'm the only difference between Telex and I is I'm just gonna ding it a little bit because it is really pricey considering you can get the Compass box for about $60.
If this was $75, man, I would be buying a case of this shit.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt at all. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Compass Box Strikes Spice Tree Extravaganza, 4.25 from Telex Whiskey Tech, 4 out of 5 from Malt Muser. This is a damn good whiskey, y'all.
I wish I had my own bottle of that so bad right now.
Worth the investment. Get your hands on it. Yeah, this is damn good.
The funny thing is, I don't collect them yet. I've got just the only bottle of Compass Box that I own myself. I've tasted many of them. Is the Phenomenology, and it's a beautiful bottle. But it's so addicting that you get involved with this blending company, and it's really easy to get kind of sucked in, and you're collecting all these bottles, man. I'm hoping I can keep myself a little bit of a distance, but I might get the bug to start collecting all these bottles from them because that was a damn good one. Do you already collect some of those already?
I've not really collected Compass Box stuff. I mean, I got into it and then I took a bit of a hiatus. I do have some of the, I do have some of the newer stuff. So this is the 10th anniversary. So Spice Tree was, a very controversial whiskey back in the day because they used staves in it. This is the single malt whiskey.
I forgot about that, but you're right. Yeah.
They hollered at them about putting the staves in. They said they couldn't call it Scotch then, so they had to make some adjustments. This is the 10th anniversary release of that. The most recent release I have of theirs, I have the Compass Box Magic Cask, and I also have the Hedonism Felicitas, which is the 20th anniversary of their first release, which was the single grain Compass Box Hedonism, whatever you want to call it, which is a goddamn delicious whiskey. And so I'm by no means a collector. I know that they have tons of stuff out there. Tobias and the Angels, they have all of the, there's so much stuff. But I will say that I have not bought anything recently that's been a disappointment.
Yeah.
And what I was thinking was I got to refill my water, but when I come back, I'd love to share a little story about one of my favorite experiences with the John Glaser whiskey, and tell us if you have some that you would recommend to folks who are just maybe interested in Compass Box, don't know much about the blends or about Glaser. Feel free to share that. I will I'll return in just a moment.
All right, man, no problem. I appreciate it. Yeah, I've been lucky enough to have a bit of their stuff over the years by either tastings. Got lucky enough when we met, he had some different things like the Spaniard and the story of the Spaniard, and some we even had some cocktails. He made this one called a penicillin that was actually pretty good. If you've ever heard of that, look it up. It's called the penicillin. Where you can use Compass Box whiskey and make a cocktail, whatever. But outside of that, the Phenomenology was the one I fell in love with them, I think, right out of the gate. It's not easy to find per se, but it's not too hard to find. If you do your homework, do some searches, you probably could find it still even to this day. That's probably my first, if I was going to recommend one to somebody, that's the one I would go to because it's not peated. It's not really, there might be sherry in it. I can't remember what the recipe was, but it's not any one way. It's not heavy. It's very light and airy. It's sweet, floral, fruity. It's really nice. It kind of reminds me of a lot of the Extravaganza without the spice. Now the Extravaganza has more of a spice kick to it, so very well balanced, even, and I'm gonna have to try to maybe find my own bottle of that because it was pretty good. I have to say, penicillin is one of his favorite cocktails. Oh, there you go. Yeah, I was surprised I never tried it. I'm not really a big mixed drinker, but if I was gonna have one, that's one I would definitely sign myself up for on the side. I'd say. Um, I'd say 125, man. I would go for it. I don't think I would go above 130 or 40ish, but for 125, I would try it. I mean, I don't think it's yeah, send me a link if you don't mind. If I can, hopefully I can snag one if there's more than one. It's telex at outlook.com. That's TELEX at outlook.com. If you don't mind, send me a place where I can pick something like that up because I would love to pull the trigger on that too. They don't put age on the website, but if you email them, there you go. Yeah, I was going to say that they're pretty good about being pretty upfront about what they're doing with their whiskey. Thank God. Storm is more expensive here. Wow, $100 Canadian. That's crazy, man. The Sky is the cheaper NAS. The Storm, I think, is a little bit more. I can't remember. I think USA is probably 80 or $90. I'm not sure if that's the same in Canadian, but it sounds kind of around the same area. $15 cheaper at Wine King Bottle King. Okay. It's not as cheap as the Sky, but it's a little bit, phenomenology is a bit expensive, 180-ish pounds. You can still find it if you do your homework for around 140 American, believe it or not. And this is not too long ago. I remember seeing it. I don't remember where, to be honest with you, but I think it was 140 USD, 2 pounds. Is like 99 sterling, we'll say. So you can probably find it for about 99 sterling. If you do a lot of searches, it might not be easy to find. Speaking of easy to find,
that's what all the ladies say. I am easy to find.
I was just talking about yeah, I mean, the phenomenology is one of the ones, if you can still find it, and it hasn't been that hard to find recently. And even for a decent price, if you do your homework, that's one that I would definitely recommend to any.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've not had that one, and that's definitely one that I would love to try. I mean, the ones that I have the Extravaganza, the Peat Muser Arcana, which we're going to get into. I have Magic Cask, the Felicitas. I have the Story of the Spaniard, which I haven't opened yet.
I think you'll enjoy that one. I was lucky enough to have that one in New York, and I think you'll enjoy it.
I'm looking forward to that one for sure. And then I have the Glasgow Blend. I have both the regular release and I have a vatted release, which is at cask strength. So I'm going to be checking both of those out relatively soon.
Ooh, a cask strength compass box, man. That would be something else.
Yeah. It's a cask strength compass box. It's the Glasgow Blend, which is the sherried, the sherried blend, from that series. And it's it's a vatted one. It's like 54% or something. So
I'm gonna my belly.
There's no way that's gonna suck.
There's no way, because those King Street blends that they have, the starter at like $30 and $40 ones
from that range.
Those are fantastic for the price, man. It's insane.
The King Street is the bourbon one. The Glasgow is the sherry peated one, and that's the one that I have the vatted version of. So I'm really
I would kill to have it. If you have any extra taste of that one, please save.
Oh yes, I definitely will.
Oh my goodness, that sounds great. Have you ever had? I'm gonna try to think of some that you haven't mentioned, and I'm wondering if you ever had a chance to try any of these. That one that was called like the I want to say juvenile, but it wasn't juvenile.
Yeah, that's right. No, I've not had it, but I've seen it. Yeah, I know about that. Yep.
I had that one at a tasting. It didn't blow my socks off, but it wasn't like off-putting. It's really hard to judge those at expos sometimes, unless you have your own,
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Bottle to sit down with. What about the No Name series? Have you had the No Name 1 or 2?
Sadly, no. I have not had any of those. I have had the Lost Blend.
Gotcha.
that one was good, but yeah, not the no names.
I was lucky enough to have the first one, and I did like it a lot. I think that was the one that was the Ardbeg Kalila blend, and that was really well done. The second batch I never tried, but I heard that it wasn't as good as the first one. I'm not sure if that's true, so that's kind of something to kind of go off of. But have you had the the double single?
No.
That one, I see. That's the thing where you might enjoy it more than me. I did not like it because I'm not a big grain fan. If you like the grain blend, the grain blends they do, like the hedonism, you might really like it. To me, the hedonism and the double single weren't my cup of tea. But keep that in mind. I'm not a big grain, fan. So
I'll keep it in mind.
Did you have the basic hedonism at the first release?
Oh yeah. I loved it.
You liked it a lot?
That segues into a great story, Telex. I got to tell you a story, and I don't know if you've heard it, and I've said it probably 2 or 3 times on lives before, but you want to hear it now?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Okay, so Compass Box, their first whiskey was the hedonism. Hedonism. It was a single grain. It is a vanilla bomb of the highest order. Okay. And so back in my Philly days, which I can now say because I'm no longer in Philly, back in the day when I was living in Philly, you know what I'm saying? I went to a tasting with the Philadelphia Whiskey Society, and the guest of honor speaking that night was Robin Robinson. Now, Robin Robinson is a whiskey connoisseur of sorts. He wrote the book, The Ultimate Whiskey Guide. I have a signed copy, which I picked up at that event. And he was telling all sorts of whiskey stories, which he would do. And one of the stories that he shared was this. He was one of the first, well, not exactly brand ambassadors, but, people on the ground in the U.S., talking about Compass Box when Compass Box became a thing. He's very close with John Glaser and everybody else. And he's running around the East Coast, sharing the news about the hedonism, et cetera, et cetera. And he gets a call from the folks over at Compass Box, and they say, Robin, we need you to go down to New Jersey to this shipping location, and we need you to grab the boxes with the line numbers, this, and this.
Uh-oh.
He's like, okay, why do I need to do that? And he said, well, because at the time, Compass Box was not blending in their own place. So their stuff was being bottled somewhere else. They were blending, but they weren't being bottled in their own place. And what happened is that some of their hedonism was put through lines that had previously had Glenfarclas 25. And the problem with that is that legally they cannot call their whiskey a single grain whiskey because it had been mixed with a single malt because it was not properly cleaned. So there were about 6 cases of Compass Box hedonism on the ground in New Jersey, which had been tainted with Glenfarclas 25 years old.
Well, I don't know if I would use the word tainted.
Well, tainted is subjective. I'm saying they've been tainted insofar as their legal status has been concerned.
I know. I was just saying that because I'm not a big grain fan. I would probably be like, let's get some Glenfarclas 25 in there.
Right, exactly. So Robin, and this is the story he told, he says, well, okay, I'll head on down there, Mr. Glaser. So Robin heads down there. He goes to the warehouse and he's like, hey, look, like I work for Compass Box. I need XYZ distillery. These are the numbers. So he gets all these cases of whiskey, and his order from on high was to, dispose of them. He didn't dispose of them.
He drank those motherfuckers.
He kept them. And in his basement, he had all these cases of of Compass Box hedonism, which has been slightly influenced by Glenfarclas 25. And so part of the tasting we were doing that night, in addition to him talking about his book and selling his book, we had a BYOB thing going on. And he brought out a bottle of Compass Box hedonism that had been tainted with Glenfarclas 25, which is a full sherried whiskey for those keeping score at home, and said, for the folks who brought a bottle in the 150, or it was like the $200 to $400 range, you will have a sample of this. I did do that, and so I did. And so I drank a sample of a Compass Box Hedonism that had been influenced by a Glenfarclas 25-year-old. And there you go. And he said he's down. He doesn't have very many left because he said, when he told me to get rid of them, he said to himself, "The fuck I am." Yeah. I'm going to keep those bottles. And he sure did. And we all, a bunch of about 20 of us drank some Compass Box Hedonism, which had, just an accent of Glenfarclas 25.
I wonder if John. I don't think John's hard to read. He's a very cerebral guy. If you ever have a chance to meet him, I don't know if he would be happy or upset, or if he would just ponder what happened. But hopefully, he looked at it as a really good. Since he kept it like in control with his friends that knew what was going on,
yeah.
Hopefully he didn't look at it as such a bad thing. But wow, man, that's crazy. I bet it was actually pretty good. Was it decent?
It was good. Like in total radical candor, like could I tell a huge difference between no, but there was little bit of a sherry note to it, and plus, knowing that it was in there, we looked for it, and it was special.
I bet it would be. I think believe it or not, I didn't hear about this, but I've heard inklings about this story and kind of brewing in the background with all these people. Like we're in the whiskey community is beautiful because even though we might not know all these people that we talk about, we hear from people that directly know these people. So it's such a tight-knit Scotch tasting community that the word travels fast.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. That's awesome. I have heard about that, but I didn't know anybody involved with it. So that's cool.
It was cool, man. Nobody expected it. I just saw Andrew Page said, "What is the name of the book?" I'll show you guys. Yeah. So this is his book. It is called The Complete Whiskey Guide. It's a nice hardcover.
That's a really nice look. I like that look of that book. That's cool.
Yeah, this is a signed copy of his, but you can get these. It's a comprehensive tasting school in 10 classes. It's got a lot of just really great, he goes into everything about not just Scotch, but all sorts of whiskey. It's well edited. I appreciated it. And he talks about all sorts of different whiskeys in it.
Okay.
Yeah, quite enjoy it.
I might have to pick something like that up because I do like to dabble in. I don't have a boatload of them, but sometimes it's kind of cool to see what other people are kind of looking at when it comes to some of these books.
Yeah, I have a handful. I have that. I have a book called Whiskey and Philosophy, which basically like ties the art of tasting whiskey and all of this to like philosophy, if you're ever into that. I have the Dead Rabbit book, which is about the guys who like started the cocktail revolution, so to speak. I have a book called The Drunken Botanist, which is mostly about like, just all the different ways in which you can make amazing cocktails and like all their like herbal, the background of all of these things and the history of where they came from. And then I also have one other one called Everyday Drinking, which is classic, like Christopher Hitchens, if you're familiar with him, he used to be a big fan of this book. It's from like the 1980s. It's like this British book about like, daily drinking and the life and all of that. And it's fun.
One guy that when I started my whiskey journey, I got a couple of his books, and then I heard there was this big, like a bit of an issue, we'll say. We won't go into the deep end of all the things he did wrong, but what happened to Jim Murray? Did he like implode and he's kind of like exiled, or is he been...
So he's the Whiskey Bible guy.
Yeah.
And what I understand, so last year, and there was a kerfuffle on Twitter about this, which I think started kind of the criticism of him, is that a female Scotch whiskey writer in the UK basically began like writing a series of pieces talking about his like sexism in the way he talks about his the whiskeys, and basically his like kind of at times, I think, and again, I'm saying this allegedly, I don't know if this is true, like alleged kind of creepiness around women in the industry in general, just kind of like second classing of like women and non-men in the distilling industry in the way he talks about his whiskey and stuff. And so there's been like criticism and controversy about him because of that in the wake of like Me Too. And
I was gonna say, I guess he missed the whole Harvey Weinstein incident thing.
Yeah. Now, like, I'm not saying that, like, again, like, there have never, as far as I understand, there's been no like allegations of like misconduct physically.
Right.
I think it's mostly been his like style and his like attitude and the way that he writes about things.
Yeah.
Brought a bunch of like criticism by, in particular, one female reporter in the UK. And then from there, like, yeah, I think he's taken a few hits. Now, I don't know. There are some distilleries that, freaked out and said that they would no longer like, recognize his marks, but I don't know if it's that much of an impact on him yet. I really don't know.
That's interesting. I heard about that. I was following it for a bit, and then it kind of like died off. And I was just wondering if he was still in the game, or if he decided to take a stop back. Maybe.
As far as I understand, I mean, he hasn't lost his publishing or anything like that, and like he's still considered, for whatever reasons, a quote unquote expert. I mean, he did pick Crown Royal. Canadian, what was it? Crown Royal, like, what was it called? Like Harvest Rye as his whiskey of the year. I take that for what it's worth. But nonetheless, the point is that like, yeah, he took some public flack, but I don't think his career has been ended because of
it.
But
that's cool.
I would just say people should research that issue for themselves. If they come to the conclusion that they feel like he's not somebody they want to support, then don't. If they continue to, that's your business. But I don't know much beyond that.
No, that's cool. I was just curious because, yeah, I mean, that's the tough thing about this the hobby is that some people might have a knack for finding lots of notes and stuff, but a lot of it's all subjective, and that's why it's really good to have someone like Eric, Malt Muser. We can collectively put our heads together and give you a good idea. And if we're like jointed on something, it's probably pretty damn good. If we're kind of split, then it might be depending on your palate. And I like a sweet dram. Eric might like something a little different. It's easy to kind of figure out where to go, to see what you.
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, definitely. And like, the other thing I would just like add about Murray is that, like, to what Telex just said, like, there's an objective school of thought that says like there's a level of quality one would expect from certain things, and you can debate what that is. And then there's a subjective of like what you enjoy. And like at the end of the day, nobody's an expert. And so when somebody is out in the market telling you that they have the whiskey Bible and this is the thing you should go by, yes, you can learn some stuff from it, but like, is that really the thing that's going to tell you more about what you enjoy than yourself? And I would argue, like, no. So, like, you consider books like his and any other books for that matter, and even YouTube channels to that sense, as like not necessarily a definitive anything, but as like a marker, right?
I would always give like. I would always give like 5 or 6 different opinions on a bottle. Like if you went out and spent, or you're thinking about spending, $100 to get a, something like a Clone Leash. I mean, it's a lot cheaper than that, but a lot of these are do get expensive. So before I would shell it out, I would definitely check us out. Malt Muser and Telex. Maybe check a few other channels out or a couple books out before you make that final decision.
Yeah, I mean, and there's so much to learn, and like the more you learn about it, like it's a lot of fun. But at the end of the day, you know where you are in your whiskey journey. You know what you're looking for. You are the better taster of whiskey than anybody else can tell you. And like, you know, consult other people with as a frame of reference, not as an end in itself. And like, that's, I think, what happened with Murray, and why I think, you know, the criticism outside of the gender issues is like, I mean, the guy puts out a whiskey Bible, right? Like, the dude talks about being the best whiskey, you know, he's the man. And at the time, the industry said, okay, because there was really not a lot of other people doing it at the level he was. Now, that's changed with the advent of YouTube. I mean, you got Ralphie, you got all these people. Like, do it for yourself, get your bearings, be informed by others, but don't be told by others on what the fuck you should like. And like, enjoy the journey. And as Telex, as you said, like, this shit's expensive, man, especially these days. Like, it is not cheap. And I think what Telex and I try to do in the most humble manner possible is like, you know, we talk about some expensive whiskey sometimes. And like, what we really try to do is give you a sense of like, is this worth your money?
Yeah.
Because like, I don't know about y'all, but like, I'm not exactly like, you know, living on a yacht. So, you know, these are important things. And like, I would never want to be like, yeah, spend $400 on this whiskey. And they're like, this is shit, Eric. What the hell are you talking about? I'm like, well, it was fun one night, you know.
Yeah, try to find someone that matches. I mean, you're never going to find someone that completely matches your palate, but try to find someone that you know their palate. And if I'm giving you notes where, and you know that I have more of a sweeter tooth to it, keep that in mind as I'm giving you information. The same thing with Eric and anybody else. It's like you learn the palate of the person that you're getting your notes from, and it really helps, I think, with a lot of these evaluations that we're giving you, you know, overall. Let's have a little Peat Monster Arcana fun, I think.
Speaking of, we got another whiskey to try, man. We are heading into hour number 2. Thank you guys, everybody, for hanging out. We got a good crew in already, 18 folks. Smash that thumbs up if you have yet to, if you're enjoying the show. And, of course, if you are not a subscriber yet of Telex the Whiskey Tech, where are you? What are you thinking? What's going on in your life? Subscribe to Telex. Feel free to open up another window. Shoot me a sub as well. We appreciate it. It's Tasty Tuesday. Telex and I own Tasty Tuesdays. This is how we do it.
I love Tasty Tuesday,
man. We got another Compass Box whiskey coming up for you.
Ooh, and
Arcana.
I can't wait because I've had the original Peat Monster. I've never had this one. I've heard about it, but man, I'm excited because I'm a huge Peat fan too.
Good, my friend. So I am going to give you all the tail of the tape here on the Peat Monster Arcana, and then we will get on into the tasting. So first and foremost, another kick-ass artwork from Compass Box. Look at this. Arcana. What do we have here? It is a 46% blended Scotch. It is a non-chill filtered Scotch. It is a natural colored Scotch. It is, quote, built around a parcel of the Peat Monster transformed by more than 2 years in custom French oak barrels. So that is what we're looking at. You are basically looking at a Compass Box Peat Monster that has been spent some time in French oak. And if you know anything about French oak, you're going to get some smokiness. You're going to get some creaminess. You're going to get some nice sweetness. I love me some French oak. Here is what they have to say. Peat Monster Arcana investigates how smoky whiskey interacts with French oak. We began with a cask strength version of Peat Monster, which is their blend of it's Kalila, it's, I think, Ardbeg. I know it's Kalila, but there's some other ones in there, which we filled into 3 once-used casks fitted with heavily toasted French oak heads. Following extended aging, we discovered that 2 of the casks imparted extra creaminess and toasty spice, while the content of the third became fruitier and chocolatier, etc., etc. So the whiskeys we're looking at in here include, so the malt, the smoky malt is mostly from Talisker. So this is not Kalila. Another Diageo, but it is nonetheless Talisker. So we're looking at a Talisker, and then the small amounts of Ardbeg and Milton Duff. So that's what we're looking at here. Talisker, Ardbeg, and Milton Duff. 46% non-chill natural color. Here is the bottle. killer art. And here's what it has to say on the back. And they give you a ton of info, unlike on the Extravaganza, about what's going on in this. So let me break this down. 71.4% of this recipe is Talisker refill hogsheads. 10.4% is first fill bourbon barrels from Milton Duff. 9.4 is the original Peat Monster blend, which is custom French oak barrels heavily toasted. 6.7% recharred barrels from Ardbeg, and 2.1 custom French oak heavily toasted from a Highland Malt blend. It is natural color. It is non-chill filtered. It was bottled in August of 2020. That is the tail of the tape on the Compass Box. In Arcana. Now it's the Whiskey Tech. What's up?
All right, and I appreciate Eric giving me the information that he just went through. I just want to make sure that and this is not going to change a lot of anything, but just a note, I did, when I was looking at the recipe, it says, please note that the recipe on the bottle's back label is incorrect. The Highland Malt blend component was not included in the final bottling and actual recipe as shown here.
Oh.
And this is not a huge difference, though. It's like 72.9 still on the Talisker thing, which is dead on. The only weird thing was they had the numbers mixed up on the Ardbeg was 6.9. The Peat Monster cast strength combination thing was 9.6.
Okay.
And the Milton Duff was 10.6 on the first fill thing, but everything else is perfect.
A little bit more of those, and that totally makes sense because it compensates for the Highland Malt blend. That makes total sense.
And if you guys want to follow along with this, just go to the Compass Box site, and if you click on where it has the whiskeys, you can actually download the. They have this really cool, almost like a tree, where they have the different. You can actually get the ages of the Talisker and the Milton Duff and the Peat Monster and the Ardbeg all in one screen and see the differences and all that. It's really cool how they label it all out. But I'm excited.
Here's what that artwork looks like once again. I mean, really, really cool looking thing. And as you can see here, explicitly non-chill filter, 2 years in French oak combined.
No coloring either, probably, I'm sure.
And it is a limited edition, they claim. I don't know how many bottles, they don't say, but here we are. This came out last year. So this is a little bit of a twist on the Peat Monster, which I didn't find to be much of a monster, but I really enjoyed it nonetheless. It was more of a Peat kitten. No, I shouldn't say that. It was more of a what's a medium level, like a meat? It was a Peat wolf.
It was a wee beast.
It wasn't a kitten. It's like a wolf.
It wasn't a wee beastie. It was a mid beastie.
yeah, mid beastie. Yeah. Here is the color on that, just for the folks. I mean, that is the color, Beauteous Maximus.
That is, and I really appreciate the pourers tonight. Eric did a hell of a job finding these Compass Boxes, and I normally wouldn't get it for myself, but I'm really, really glad he was willing to, because now having that first one, I'm definitely going to try to find a bottle of it, and if I like this one, which I think I'm probably going to, I'll probably want to find this one too.
Yeah, for sure. I have a sneaky suspicion you may enjoy this, but we're going to find out. So
I did enjoy it.
That means it's Telex's lead, and I will hand things over to you, Telex, to give us your first thoughts here on the Compass Box Peat Monster Arcana.
Well, 8328 bottles, August of 2020. This is looking good, and I really enjoyed the first version, which was primarily Ardbeg and Kalila, if I remember correct. I might be mixing it up with the no name,
though. I think you're right.
I can't remember, but the first one, I agree with Eric. It was peaty. I'm not sure if I would put Monster on the label unless you've got like 170 ppm at a minimum, because we all know this distillery called Brooklady, and they have the Octomore series, and the Octomore series is the peatiest of. I mean, unless you get like a Ardbeg old school Supernova, it's like the peatiest one you're going to find, pretty much.
Yeah.
But this, man, ooh, okay. Wow, this has got some really nice overall. I mean, it's funny. I mean, I do get the peat smoke and all that, but even the barley they're using in this is top notch. It feels like it's got this nice. The peat's up front, thankfully, the smoke, but it's also got this like. It kind of reminds me of that essence you get out of that Lefroy Carriages 2015. It's got that. It's almost got like an organic barley note to it for me.
Interesting.
I'm not sure where that's coming from. I'm wondering if that's part of what they had with the real slight note of the recharred barrel, the barrel from Ardbeg, maybe. Huh. I'm definitely getting the Ardbeg out of the nose on this.
Yeah, me too, man. That earthiness, the hints of that kind of chimney soot or whatever you want to call it.
Isn't that the weirdest thing to me? Is that it's 73? Well, I mean, 72.9, but you might as well say 73% Talisker. But the essence you get out of this is still Ardbeg. Even with 7% Ardbeg is still going to kick your ass. I love it. Wow. Oh man, what is that? That's like there's this like really nice combination of nougat, like a real heavy vanilla nougat with chunks of like pecans. It's like a Baby Ruth candy bar without the chocolate. It's wild.
That's interesting.
The salty, the brininess is there.
I was going to ask you, do you pick up a lot of saltiness in this? Because like I get a ton of it.
I do.
It's like one of the saltier whiskeys that I've ever really noticed.
Oh, you know what? I said Baby Ruth without the chocolate. It's like a payday. It's like it's almost like a payday candy bar kind of a nose.
Freaking payday! Oh my god, when's the last time you ate one of those?
It's been ages, man. Now I want one.
I'm wondering if you get like any. Do you notice any like pine notes? Pine kind of like sharp herbal notes. It's almost like a bitter parsley. Man, I get a ton of like, well, not a ton, but I get a nice detectable note of like a sharp kind of pine needle. I mean, not juniper like gin, but it's in that botanical realm.
Exactly. No, you nailed it.
But God, it's rounded off by a nice creamy vanilla. God.
There's even. Do you get like a little subtle scent of like a spearmint gum?
Yes, 100%. There's a lot of mint. Yeah, I get more than the subtle. There's serious mint in this.
Oh yeah, it's wafting up as time goes on. I'm getting more of a double mint kind of a feel to it. Yeah. Wow.
It's a very fresh whiskey. I mean, for French oak, which is something you wouldn't necessarily categorize as a freshness, like, boy, this is a fresh whiskey.
It's an exciting whiskey. It's like it kind of like it's almost like it's energizing in a weird way. I'm not sure why that is, but it might be the herbal notes with the vanilla notes. And the fruit, I mean, there's a lot going on here, even with the peat and the smoke. I mean, you can go on for a while on this one.
Yeah, I'm with you. Shall we?
Yeah, I'm really intrigued by this Milton Duff first fill bourbon, single malt, apple, creamy, toffee, ginger type of thing going on. Okay. This is also 46%.
Correct. Oh, man. That's different. This reminds me, if anybody has had the new Lagavulin Guinness cask, like 11-year-old, this reminds me of a peated whiskey with a nice rounded finish, which is in this case the French oak, in that case the Guinness cask. It brings a like rounded heft to the like end of the palate or end of the taste finish part that I just love, man. Instead of a sharp explosion and then it just fizzles like this, it's like boom, and then you get this nice roundedness to kind of keep it up.
I'm getting like a. It's funny. I'm getting like a sandalwood beach fire camp, like on the beach kind of feel to it.
Big time. If I told you that this was aged 6 months in Mizunara, you wouldn't blink an eye.
Wow. Yeah.
There's a really nice. It just that finish is where the creaminess comes in. You get a nice, and that's where I think the French oak is really shining. There's a nice creaminess. It's marzipan. It's vanilla. It's creme brulee. It's nutmeg.
Definitely no creme brulee. Definitely.
That finish just holds all of that together while you still have a little bit of the effervescent citric kind of salty peat smoke. The bourbon notes are there, kind of influencing it. I'm impressed.
That's a nice finish too. It's got a bit of a. It's kind of a combination of, wow. It's got some pulled pork barbecue notes going on. It starts out meaty, and then it goes into more of like a sweetness with like
Interesting.
Wow, it changes a bit. It's like the initial palate to me was like a nice pulled pork sandwich with barbecue sauce. And then now it's gotten more on the finish like a sweet roasted toast, like more toasted, like a toasted marshmallow with wow, what is that?
Yeah, I'm not necessarily picking up the barbecue thing. It's faint, if at all. I kind of see what you're saying. I don't pick up. There's a little bit of a light brown sugar, which is maybe where we would overlap, like more of a barbecue. But yeah, I'm not picking up quite as much. I get more. The nose is phenomenal. The initial development for me and taste is like kind of medium, citric, and caramel, like kind of vanilla caramel, like not all that interesting. But as it develops is when it really kind of comes into its form, and I think it really shines again on the finish. So it's kind of like a, like a whoop, it loses a little bit in the taste as it develops, but I feel like it surges really well, and a great finish. There's herbalness. It's a little bit. The only thing it clashes a little bit, the citricness and the creaminess is like a little clashing for me, but interesting and tasty for sure.
When you take one more little sip, this like a dime sip, and tell me if you get any, like as soon as it hits your palate, if you get any like brisket, like pulled pork, anything like that on it.
Mm-mm.
Not getting it.
It's more vanilla and fruit. It's more like vanilla and apricot and apple. I mean, there's like I sort of see what you mean, the tanginess.
Yeah, there's like a tangy pork kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't get quite the depth that you're getting because it doesn't have the spiciness. But I know it's
true. Yeah, it does like the spice.
I see how it's landing with you. Like it makes sense to me.
It does like the spice, though. I think you nailed it with the lack of spice. I think it would be beneficial to it if it had maybe a little bit more of that rub that you look for.
But I mean, the regular Peat Monster, I wouldn't necessarily say was a very spicy whiskey either. And I think what's happening with this is like the French oak is clearly adding a creaminess to this that is going to bury some of that. I mean, I see what you're saying. Like there's a faint, like when I breathe in and out, there's a faint kind of like mesquite barbecue thing, but it's so faint, for me at least, that it's hard to like pinpoint it.
Yeah,
the French oak is making this just a more creamy, like vanilla mocha milkshake type thing.
I do like this a little better than the initial Peat Monster because that one was kind of like more of a combination of white and black pepper, kind of like more of like a Talisker-esque feel to the intensity of it. This one is feels more refined and a little more sweeter, which I appreciate actually.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like it. I mean, this whiskey, having had the new Guinness Lagavulin, like the first time I sipped it, I was like, oh god, this tastes a little bit like the Arcana. Like, I wonder if this is going to be a trend of like these kind of creamy, more earthy toned, finishes on some special releases to kind of give it, a little bit of that, like, again, rounded finish. I mean, I'm definitely getting a roundedness to this.
I hope it is a trend because I do like that Lagavulin Guinness cask, the Offerman Batch 2 that we looked at. That was really tasty, and this one does have that kind of, even though it's sweet, it has such a roasted, toasted feel to it. It balances out the sweetness where it's not overwhelmingly cloyingly sweet or anything.
Yeah, I agree with you.
That spice helps a lot too. I'm trying to add a little water to it without putting too much in because I want to knead it one more time before I
do it.
Call it. But I'm not sure if water is going to do much with this one at all. Huh. It might have brought the herbal notes a little bit more to the forefront, possibly. Let me know if you get that too.
I'm gonna do it too. Yeah, I'm gonna do a couple drops here.
Maybe more of the pine needles and more of the.
Let us know in the chat. Has anybody had the Arcana? Are we on point here, or are you guys? You notice anything else different in this? Love to hear what you think. I see Don Holland's in the house. Zach Cohen, what's up, everybody? Timothy Juarez, Daniel H.
Hell yeah! Good to see all of you guys. I really appreciate it, man.
So this is, with water, it's much brighter. I feel like it's killed a little bit of the bourbon cask notes.
Are you getting more of the herbal, like the pine needles in your face?
Yeah,
that's what I noticed. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Almost has like a mossiness. I mean, it's not bad. It's just kind of like, it's almost like a mossy pine needle. Are you still there?
Yep, I'm here. This is interesting. It seems like the French oak takes a step back with water, at least on the nose, but I can't imagine that's going to be the same on the palate. Here we go.
I want to see what you think first before I say anything about the palate of the water.
It's still very creamy. It's still very rounded. It's very warm, rounded baking spices, vanilla. Not so close. It's more like nutmeg. It's more like It's more like almost like eggnog in a way.
Exactly. It's got that kind of savory base to it.
Yeah. I like the nose better with water. I think I like the palate better without.
Exactly. I was thinking the same exact thing on that one.
Nice finish, though. The finish is still the same. I feel like the taste and the finish are much more in sync with with water here. The vanilla, it's vanilla bean. You know what I'm talking about? Vanilla bean.
Oh yeah, when you actually
or like vanilla extract. When you smell vanilla extract, that's what it's like
when you can actually see that strand of black vanilla being stripped by the knife, that type of thing. Yeah.
I like it. I actually think I like it better with water. I'm going the other way. I think I like the nose a little bit more without, but there is a creamy, decadent kind of this should be drizzled on top of a piece of cheesecake or something with your dinner or with your dessert after dinner. That spice is still there and it's doing a good job. It's cinnamon. It's almost like a hint of chili pepper, like cayenne, just like it's a little sharper, but it doesn't have that citric element of the more like southern spices.
I also still have in the finish, I have a nice wave of vanilla and the spice is still there. It's still going. It's actually a pretty long finish. It's a longer finish, I think, than Extravaganza, about just a little bitty bit at least.
I agree. I totally agree with you.
That's real. I'd say it's pretty damn nice. I'm debating on how to score something like this, though, man. It's not an easy thing because it's
I agree.
wow. Oh man, another
Who
great
knows?
pour.
Who knows? I mean, and I know there's no Kahlua in it, but God, if you just like quickly, like you just pick it up and smell it quick, it smells like a freaking Kahlua. It just really does, except for the vanilla. Like, take the vanilla notes out of it. It smells like a goddamn Kahlua.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you guys. I've never. Sorry for leaving that comment up there. I've never thought that.
About 85, $90. Yeah, 100 is within range for sure. But about $90 is what I usually see it for.
Looking at the recipe, I mean, I'm just surprised that 73. I mean, if you think of 73% of a pie is 3/4 of that pie, 3/4 of this is Talisker. And this says nothing. It feels nothing, absolutely nothing
Probably why I
like a
like
Talisker. It doesn't feel like a Talisker at all, does it?
Hey man, if I would have read that before I bought this, I probably wouldn't have because I'm not the biggest young Talisker fan. Like I am not a big fan of Talisker 10. I don't really like Talisker Storm. Now the 18 is a different story, but and so is the Distiller's Edition, but I am not a big fan of the young Taliskers. And boy, I'll tell you, you would have me fooled if you told me Talisker was in this. I would have thought Kahlua.
I think the reason why this doesn't feel very Talisker-esque is because it is an older Talisker. Let me count the lines here and tell you what the age is. 1 second. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1 second. Let me make sure that's right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's either 10 or 11 years on the Talisker. It's only, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 on the Ardbeg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the Peat Monster cast strength combination. And the Milton Duff is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-ish on the Milton Duff. So it's the Talisker is even though it's like we'll say 12, I think it's a little older than the 10. Maybe that's what's helping this. It's a little more refined Talisker.
This way, I that may be true. What I actually think for me, what I'm thinking is doing it more than anything is the French oak.
Yeah,
the French oak is rounding off. What I don't like about Talisker 10 and what about the young Taliskers in general is the sharp pepper note. It's the sharp pepperiness of those that I don't enjoy. And what I will say is like there's not a lot of this because it's being rounded out, and I think it's rounded off by this French oak cask. I think if you took the French oak out of this, I would probably not be enjoying it as much as I am. But maybe who knows? I will admit I haven't had a Talisker 10 in about 2 years, so maybe I should revisit it and maybe I'll like it more. But Talisker is not my jam.
Andrew was saying it's a 14-year-old Talisker. He emailed a Compass Box about this, and the rings don't mean anything. But that's just really sad that they wouldn't. I mean, why bother putting all these rings on here if they don't mean anything? That's what kills me.
Yeah.
Because they really they let me count these. Make sure maybe it is 14. Let me make sure I'm not missing something here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm seeing 11, but I trust Andrew that if they told him 14, that makes sense. But I don't understand why they would bother putting this like graphic out here if they're not going to make it correct or accurate. It's crazy. He wants Cohen wants to see what you think of the Torveg. I'm gonna get Eric some Torveg here soon, and we'll see what he thinks about that. But it'll be interesting to see. 16-year-old Ardbeg and 11-year-old Milton Duff. Okay, they really messed up the rings. Then I'm not sure why they bothered doing it that way, unless they're doing it for like the They're probably just doing it for like a graphical representation or whatever of this. That's really weird, though. Dylan wants to know, the Torveg is a new distillery, guys. That let me pull the bottle up here 1 second for Mr. Daniel. This is going to Mr. Eric here shortly. This is the Torveg. It's a new distillery. It's a peated offering. 2017.
I'm excited.
This is the Olive Skies. This is an Islands malt. Heavily peated single malt made with concerto malted barley with an in-grain phenol level of 55 to 60 ppm, which is pretty on the same par with Ardbeg 10, Lefroy 10. Fermented with Pinnacle MG Plus yeast and aged solely in first fill bourbon barrels, bottled at 46% with no chill filtration.
What's that? Say it again. The people.
No chill filtration, motherfucker.
You hear that, Glendronic? Say it again.
Or coloring.
Oh.
Dalmore.
Oh, interesting.
And a residual phenol level of 16 ppm. So it's going to.
Telex, I have to ask you, if a new distillery is trying to make their way in the market, shouldn't they be following the market leaders who tell you chill filter and add color to your whiskey?
There you go. You can't go wrong with no chill filtration and no coloring. Those are the two best things to hear when we're looking at whiskeys, guys.
Absolutely.
A statement would be better, but these guys are new. I'm not going to bitch about it.
They're new. And as we all know, well, at least as I would advocate, casks are king. Yeah, Octomore is a testament to this. What Octomore does with the 5-year whiskey, it can only be because of the casks. So, yeah.
This is going to feel more like a 16 ppm after it's all said and done. It's going to be kind of between a Bunnahabhain and an Ardbeg. It's going to be about 16 ppm is the level that you're going to get on the peat. But it's 2017. It's actually on the bottle, and that's a good, that's a good. If they're not putting an age statement on there, at least they're letting you know it's 4 years old. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. Well, Telex, I got to wrap up in a few minutes, so I apologize. I got to leave just a few minutes early. But what are your final thoughts on the Peat Monster Arcana, and what do we got coming up next week?
Quickly on the Arcana, man, it's a good whiskey. I do enjoy it. I think it's a medium finish. I would wish it was maybe a little longer, but I'm not bitching. It's got a great taste. It's with and then without the water. It's fun. It's right up there with the other one, really, man. It's funny because it's like the best of both worlds. If you like just a straightforward, spicy, complex whiskey, the Spice Tree Extravaganza is perfect. If that's not your wheelhouse, if you're more into the peat and the smoke, and you want more of an Ardbeg feel, I do definitely get the Ardbeg out of this, even though it's only, even if we go by the distillery's graphic, it's literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Well, it's probably about 15, 16 years old, but he's a 16, so that's about right, actually, on that one. Their graphics really hard to go by because some of these lines that they're using are really hard to see. But 16-year-old Ardbeg is nothing to sniff at. I mean, it's very well done, and I'm a huge Ardbeg fan. I'm definitely going to go.
No way.
Oh yes, way. I'm going to say 4.25 again. Wow. I really like this one. I mean, it's. I don't know, man. The finish is maybe a little short. Maybe I'll go to 4. I'm going to go 4 out of 5 on this one.
4 out of 5? I think the finish is like one of the strong suits of this one. I'm right there with you, man. I really think this is a good whiskey at $90. Yeah, it's a non-age statement, but it's 46% non-chill natural. You got a French oak finish. This is, again, And I want to emphasize, this is a peaty whiskey, but if you've had peat monster before, you know it ain't exactly a monster. It is more of a, what did we say it was? Like a
mid
wolf.
beastie. It's a mid
beastie. It's the mid beastie. Really enjoyable, somewhat relaxed, which is what you're going to get with the French oak. I am generally impressed with this. At the $90 price point, is this a must buy? I mean, I don't think you need to go and spend your money on this tomorrow, but should you have this, would you enjoy it if you like peated whiskey? Yes. Do you need to like Talisker in order to like this? No. I would say $375. So
that's good, still a good store, yeah.
Yeah, $375 Malt Muser, 4 from Telex and Whiskey Tech. 2 great compass boxes. We're both recommending you all get a taste of these. These are good whiskeys.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, Cohen. I was already kind of a fanboy to a point. I don't know. It's when you're dealing with these blenders, it's tough because I do gravitate more towards the either phenomenology or the no name like first batch. Those are my top 2 probably. I do really like that Extravaganza spice tree. That's in my top 3, if not 2.
Yeah, I agree.
And this new Arcana Peat Monster is pretty damn good too. It might be top 4. I mean, it's really fun to take a look at a lot of these Compass Box offerings, even though
I'm glad we got the chance to. I will say, God, Compass Box is making their boxes thinner and thinner. These boxes are they're flimsy as all hell. God damn you, Compass Box. Minor criticism. I do got to sign off in a hot sec. I apologize, but. Next week we got some fun stuff. So, is it cool with you if I just set things up real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
So next week, Telex and I are going to be checking out another distillery that maybe flies out a little bit under the radar, but shouldn't. Glenrothes.
Oh yeah,
Glenrothes Whiskey Maker's Cut, which is a sherry bomb that you don't want to miss. We'll be checking that out on hour number 1. In hour number 2, we're checking out a really special one. It is a 20-year-old Glenrothes exclusive malts selection. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And then 2 weeks from today, it's Auchentoshan time. American Oak and Auchentoshan 21.
Eric's favorite.
Yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait for that. That's going to be amazing.
He's half joking. I know Auchentoshan's not on the top of Eric's list, and I feel for him. But I have my few that I'm not looking forward to. Like, I went and bit the bullet and bought a Dalmore 18, which I'm sure is going to be painful for all of us. But we're still gonna bite one for the man. We're gonna take one and see how it goes.
Man, yeah, no doubt.
But it could be worse. It could be like a freaking Avengerg. I'm gonna make Eric, just out of punishment. If he's ever mean to me, he's going to get the 3-year inaugural release of the Avengerg. You will be in sweaty...
Dude, you are stepping on very dangerous ground.
Hold on. Sweaty gym shorts was the first note that I got out of this, dude. Sweaty gym shorts on the nose. And if I get to the palate, you don't even want to go there. That's how bad it was.
Hey, man. That sounds awful, but I do have to just mention, and you don't know unless you know.
Uh-oh.
I now live in Chicago, Illinois, which is the home of Malort. If you want to go down the road of bad alcohols, I will buy a bottle of Malort and send you a sample. And it is a Chicago thing. Every bar in Chicago has Malort. If you had done it once, you'd never do it again. I'm game, brother. I ain't gonna drink it with you. Just to be clear, if you want me to buy some Malort and send it to you, I will. But there is, mark my words, that's dangerous territory you're treading on.
The only problem with this is the Avengerg actually sells for I mean, I'm not sure if it actually sells, but it's being put on the market for crazy amounts of money. So I would I would love to get you a taste of this stuff on one hand. On the other hand, I'm not willing to spend the crazy money to get a bottle. So if anyone has any Avonjurg, it's ABHAINNDEARG. If you have any of this 3-year inaugural release, please send it to both of us because I want to do another review of it. I painfully went through it before. They do have a 10-year release that I'm looking forward to trying. I never tried it before, so if you do see the Avonjurg 10-year, please let me know for a reasonable price. I will definitely try to get my hands on it. But if this is like the 3-year version, I'm going to say big hand. No way.
All right,
sorry, Eric. I didn't mean to catch you.
No, you're good, dude. That's good. That's good. Hey, it's been another really fun time. I do have to unfortunately sign off a few minutes early, but again, we'll be here next week with Glenn Rothis. I'll have my posting for happy hour will be up shortly, so do take a sec, subscribe to Telex the Whiskey Tech, shoot us a sub to Malt Muser Whiskey Reviews if you haven't, and hit that thumbs up. We appreciate you guys. It is Tasty Tuesday. Telex and I are rolling strong into year 2 of our show, and we truly appreciate and enjoy all of your company as we continue our whiskey journey. So, Telex, with that, I will hand things over to you and let you roll into some after hours program. And I'll catch you next week, brother. And everybody else, stay safe, be well. And I got a review dropping Friday. Old Pulteney 15. Check it out. Much love, everyone. Take care, Telex.
Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it.
You bet.
That should be a really good one, that Old Pulteney 15. I have a feeling.
Indeed.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be a good one because I'll be honest, out of all the Old Pulteney new stuff that they released, I was not a fan of the older stuff. I like the 15 more than the 18 and more than the 25, believe it or not. I'm not sure why or what it was, but that 15 I thought was actually pretty well done. We're going to keep it going, guys, so don't hang up just yet if you want to have a little fun on the side. We were talking about, blending and doing some stuff on the side. What do you think would go with this Clonleash 14? I'm thinking of doing another blend. I'll tell you guys what I have on the side, and let me know if you've ever tried it with something else and liked it. And if it wasn't Clonleash, any blend that you've tried yourself, please put it in the comments because I'd like to see what the some of them are. I might try myself just to see what might go with this or other things. So if you had a whiskey that you blended and it wasn't Clonleash 14 with something else, definitely put it still in the chat. Let me go over here. I just saw a new comment come up here. Phone on the side. What are we talking about, Tex? We're talking about blending. I'm looking at earlier I blended just for fun a Clonleash 14, and since I was not a happy fan of the base 40 ABV, but the Cardew 18, I thought, hey, let's put that with that and see if it helps it at all. And it actually did. It gave it more of a better mouth feel, a better mouth coat. It I thought it was kicking ass on a little bit of Clonleash 14, like 50%, 50% of the Cardew 18. Put it together, bam. That was pretty good blend, just for because the fruits and vanillas got out of the Clonleash 14 were still there, and I got like the raisin chocolate covered graham crackers and stuff out of the Cardew 18, and it came together pretty well there. Ardnahoe will be out any minute now within a bunch of 3 other 3-year scotches flooding the market. Well, the difference being with the 3-year scotches is the Ardnahoe's new make, as I've had a friend that actually got a chance to taste it. It's damn fucking good. So Ardnahoe would be a thumbs up. Avonjurg would be a thumbs down on the 3-year release. So just because the age is not to your liking, 3 years in one distillery could be a great thing. 3 years in another distillery is not so good. So keep that in mind. I don't know. How, yeah, bro. Have you tried any of the Glenturrets? Glenturret is another good one there. Have you had the Old Pulteney 17? Yes. I had a couple bottles of it and was sad to see it discontinued. Not sure how the new 15 or 18 stacks up to it. I can tell you, I'm a huge fan of the old 17 and 21 of the Old Pulteneys. The new series, I'm not much a fan of the Old Pulteney 18 as much as the 15 out of the gate. Now, the Old Pulteney 18 does do well. And I'm doing this by memory here. It was either oxidation or water. One of the two helped the 18, the new make, kind of live up to its name, but the 15 to me out of the gate was a much better whiskey than the new 18. The old 17 and new 15 are really damn close together. So if you like the old 17, you should definitely get the new 15. Is there an equivalent to the old 21? I haven't seen it yet. Maybe with the new 18 with either water or oxidation, I got to do a little bit more of a playing with that. But yes, the old 21 was badass. It's hard to live up to that one. What about the Catch 18 with last year's Offerman 11? What about the Catch 18? You mean the Cardew 18 with last year's Offerman 11? Maybe that's what you meant by that. That would be something. I drank my old Offerman already, unfortunately. It was a little woody, but it was still, it was pretty decent, but I don't know about that. I'd have to take a look and really see. But yes, I really love the old 21 as well. That was really, really good. And the new 15 is quality. The 18 we're gonna have to play with a little bit to get it to where we need it to be, I think. The only one I have is Gordon MacPhail that I have not opened yet, and it's cast strength, single cast, heavily sherry. That sounds good. Damn autocorrect. No, I hear you. The Cardio 18 with last year's Offerman, it's possible. It'd be worth a shot, What else would you like to see? I'm thinking about blending this this Clownleash 14 with something else. I'm going to tell you what I have. Tell me what you guys think would be a good possible blend. And the SMWS Glenturret, I have one. It's probably a different version, but it's really good as well. It's a peated version. It's really, I think it's pretty tasty. I'm going to tell you guys what I have. Now, I have the Altavania peated, which is a distillery bottle from Altavania, ALLT-A-BHAINNE. It's Altavania. It's that would be maybe something we could do with the Clownleash 14. That's an option. I'm not opposed to it. Auchentoshan 21 might benefit, possibly. Not sure. Ardbeg 19, I don't think we want to. I don't think the Ardbeg 19 needs anything. Tobermory 21, Mazzania cast probably doesn't need anything. Speedburn 25 maybe might benefit. Old Pulteney 18 possibly. Linkwood 12 Flora and Fauna bottle maybe. Highland Park 15 Fire possibly. Highland Park 17 Ice possibly. Auchentoshan American Oak maybe. Glenelg 23 Exceptional cask. Not sure if it needs that. Craigenmore 20, same thing. It's already 55.8. Probably doesn't really need it. Kilkerran 16 might be a good blend with this. The Kilkerran 16's at 46, as is the Clownleash 14. That might be interesting. The Ardbeg probably doesn't need that. The Emirate Atama peated port, it's already 56.5. Probably doesn't really need it. Ball Blair 1983. It's almost sacrilegious to blend that with anything, but would it benefit from a little boost of a Clynelish 14, same ABV, 46%. Could be interesting. Glenelg 25, 48% already. Not sure if we need that. Benrike Smoky 10, that might be a good one at 46%. That might be fun to blend with that. Speyburn 10, 40% might be a really good one. I do like the Speyburn 10 out of the gate. I got a Glen Grant 12. That might be good to blend with that. Alberfeldy 20 Exceptional Casts, 43%. Could benefit from a little bit of a boost of 46% Clynelish 14. That might be a good blend. Daft Mill 2007 winter release at 46 might be interesting. Glentronic 21 Parliament, 48% already, might not be beneficial to do with the Clynelish 14 actually. Scorch definitely doesn't need it. The Torvig might be an interesting boost with the Clynelish 14. It's at 46% as well. Ardmore 20 is at 49.3 already. Won't need that, probably, I'm sure. The Dalmore 18 is a sherried release at 43. That could be interesting. A Cardew 18 we've already done. I think it actually benefited from the Clynelish 14. I think that was a pretty good blend. Last but not least, the Dalwhinnie 15. 43%, 15 years. I haven't even cracked the open of the bottle yet. That one's still sealed. Might try to do that one. I'm gonna be right back, guys. Let me do a quick search for something. I will be right back. Think about the ones I've mentioned. Clynelish 14. I'll do a blend if you guys feel like it. Tell me what you out of all the things I mentioned, what you think I should try to blend. I'll be right back. All right, sorry about that, guys. I appreciate you sticking around a little bit. Just had to do a quick quig in the whole 9 yards. But yes, we are blending, Mr. Steven. If you've ever tried it, it's not hard to do. Let me get my cursor up here if I can see. Yes. So I definitely recommend if you're going to try blending anything, definitely start off with a bit of a thickener, a bit of a base, a bit of a foundation. I like the Clynelish 14. It's my favorite waxy base whiskey. It's 46% ABV. It's, we don't know about the coloring and chill filtration because it is a Diageo product, unfortunately, but it's a damn good tasting, damn good nose, damn good finish, very nice texture. So I think we'll start off with that and see what we can get. Just dump Dalmore in the Clynelish and it becomes $100 compass box to them. Yeah, we might have to go with the old We'll have to see. Blend the Clonleash with some Lafroig and Talisker and throw in a dash of Highland. Well, on my list, I don't know if I have. I might have to go to the closet and see if I have any more Lafroig left. I think I might have cleaned out my Lafroig. I wonder if I have any of that. No, I think I've already done the port and wine cask too. I might have to see if I have any open I don't think I have any open Lafroig right now, unfortunately. Talisker, unfortunately, was not on the list I gave you guys. So you're way off the list there, Mr. Andrew. You weren't listening. No, I'm just messing with you. No, I don't have anything. I mean, I'd be up for someone if anyone has the. I'm gonna say if you're gonna do this with pizzazz, Lafroig cast strength 10-year-old would be one deal. A Talisker 10 with Clonleash 14. Now, how are you going to do the parts? I would suggest probably predominantly most of this be, I'm going to say 50% Clonleash 14, and then split the other 50 half and half Lafroig and Talisker with that 50% Clonleash. So I'm not a math major, but I think that's 50, 25, and 25, right? So we got 50% Clonleash 14, 25% Lafroig at 10 cast strength, has to be cast strength, and Talisker 10. If you're going to throw a dash of Highland, what Highland distillery are you going to go with? Now, I'm going to have to think about this for a second. I'm thinking, let's see, something. I'm going to recommend one, but I want to see if it's a Highland before I make a recommendation. I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, it is. And supposedly it's peated. I don't think it's peated, but maybe it is. Maybe it's slightly peated. Interesting. But it's definitely ex-bourbon and ex-oloroso sherry is the Dalwhinnie 15. So maybe Clonleash 14, 50%, 25% Lafroig 10 cast strength, 10% Talisker 10 base, and maybe just like you said, a dash, like maybe an ounce of Dalwhinnie 15. But I'm not sure if that ounce is really going to do much. You might have to have more than a dash. You might have to have. You might have to say like 25% Clonleash 14, 25% Lafroig 10 cast strength, 25% Talisker 10, 25% maybe of the Dalwhinnie 15, or if you want to try to hone it more, do 30, 30, 30, and 10. So that's 90 and yeah, I would do 30% Clonleash 14, 30% Lafroig 10 cast strength, 10 another 30% of the Talisker 10, and only 10% maybe of the Dalwhinnie 15. That might be the perfect blend. If you have the means to do it, let me know, and let me know if it works out, because I don't have those right now to do. Yes, SMWS knows their stuff, but you have to be willing to pay that shipping cost. Shipping is not cheap with those guys. Blend the Glen Grant 12. It definitely needs help. Yeah, it's a decent whiskey out of the gate, but it's, let me look at the profile of the old Glen Grant 12. That's a good point. I didn't even think about that. Let's see, Glen Grant, and we're doing 12. Sorry about that for a second here. And it's a 3.5 out of 5 whiskey, we'll say. 43% only, yeah. Did I ever do any tasting notes for this one? Probably not. Yeah, because I don't think I've got it to do a review on. We have not reviewed this one yet. It's coming, but it looks like it's kind of like a little bit better than average, but maybe not by a whole big one. That could be interesting. I might have to try that with something. Yes, we are. I saw that one already there. I'm going down here. I'm willing to risk some. Oh, yes. I was just noticing this, James. When I was doing my blends, and I'm about to do a new one here. I'm gonna do a little pour first of the Clonage 14. It's glorious by itself. It doesn't need anything, but it's just kind of fun. If you're gonna do some blends, it's not a bad one to blend with. But I will agree, the Game of Thrones Clanleash, if you have multiple bottles, it's very, very well done as far as the ABV is a lot higher, and you can get a better mouth coat from it. So I do like the 14 a lot, but the ABV and the feel of that Game of Thrones Clanleash is a little bit better. I actually like it a little bit better. So yeah, I like all of it. I would recommend not using Lafroig for the blend with Clanleash 14. Okay, well, depends. Talisker 10 would be good. And then maybe something like Deanston 12. That would. I still have some virgin oak. Maybe like a Talisker 10. If I wish I had some Talisker. I don't think I have any. I did not give that to you in my list. I do have that Torveg. So maybe a Torveg, the Deanston virgin oak, and the Clanleash. That I could do. It's subtly peated. It's also got the virgin oak in there of the Deanston with the Clanleash. That could be interesting. The only thing, man, is it's going to be, if you're dealing with the Deanston virgin oak, that's already a very oily whiskey. So you're going to have oil and waxiness with the Clanleash 14. I might try it. This is just to take you up and see if it works, but I don't know, man. That's gonna be it's gonna be an iffy. Let me get my cursor back here. Here we go. Glenmorangie 10 could be a good one. I don't like the Glenmorangie 10 very much on its own. I do love the Glissanta and the Quinta Ruban and the Nectar Noir and all that. I'm not a big fan of the 10 by itself, so maybe the 10 with the Clanleash 14 might be a great mix, a great blend. That might be a fun one to do. Oh, yeah, the 15 could work too. Dalwhinnie 15. Diageo has been doing using some of that for blending, I believe. The Dalwhinnie 15, you never know. Probably. I wouldn't doubt it. They might even use. I know they use the Clanleash because they use that with a lot of different blends. But this could be used for Bowmore and Abelauer, as they both could work well and Clanleash. That's a good idea. If I'm looking for a peated offering that needs some help, the Bowmore 10 small batch #1, those kind of releases would be beneficial maybe with the Clanleash 14. And you mentioned the Abelauer 12, 16, those might be helped with a little Clanleash 14 on the side. Hell, Diageo should pay me for thinking of ways to make other whiskeys great by adding their whiskey to their whiskey. There you go. But they're probably not going to do it. But I think it's a good idea. Did a blend recently. I like the 2008 Bordeaux from Deanston, red wine finish, but thought it would be better with peat. So I mixed it with a Castreath 10, a Talisker 10, a Clonage 14, and an Annock 12. Jesus, man. That is quite the blend. You went crazy on that one. If you don't mind me asking, Andrew, what percentages did you do on all? Did you just split it like, 1, 2, 3, 4? You used 5 whiskeys. Can you divide? I don't think you can divide it evenly out of 100 out of 5. 25 would be 4. So yeah. Anyway, so did you do like 30? Let's see, 33 would be a third, 25 would be a fourth, 10. Let's see, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10 would be 50, 20 would be 20, 20. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. You do 20% each. Okay. So did you do 20% of each one, or did you do it in different increments? And what did you think? Did you like it? Were you kind of like, eh? What was your feeling behind the end result? Turned out tasty. Okay. What was your blend percentage? Was it a straight 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, or was it like, a bit different? Make it an all Diageo blend. There you go. Well, he was close. He's got the Talisker, the Kleinlich, but unfortunately, Enoch's a different company, Lafroy's a different company, as well as Deanston. So you got, yeah, that's crazy. I will tell you guys. Speaking of the Deanston deal, I've heard from. I was listening to Ralphie today on an extras thing, and he had some really good notes. He was talking about like not that he needs any press or anything, but he was talking about how you do your swirl, and if you get the really fine mini beads, you kind of have a sense that there's younger whiskey in it. And if you're doing your rounds and you're doing your legs, if it's a little thicker, a little more bigger on the beads, you got your older whiskey. Things like that was kind of cool. He was also talking about Heineken, of all brands, was highly, not just thinking, but highly considering buying some of our favorite distilleries: Bunnahabhain, Deanston, and what was the other one? It was Bunnahabhain, Deanston, and Tobermory. Those three. Heineken's thinking about buying these guys, and he's saying that Glendronach is doing some of these chill filtering changes because of the market in the Far East Asia. And I'm not saying that he's wrong by any means, but I do think it's wrong to base your entire craft off of trying to compete for one portion of the world's market. And it's a new market. I mean, I know people are salivating over money and all that, but fast money does not always mean great long-term money. So keep that in mind. If you're thinking about buying Bunnahabhain, Deanston, and Tobermory, I even wrote to Heineken today and begging them, please do not chill filter or color any of your whiskey. It's a bad trade, it's bad craft, it's bad taste. It does nothing for the consumer. I don't care if you're in Far East Asia and you love your whiskey to be, to have no Scotch mist in it or whatever the fuck. It's bullshit. Don't contaminate the market just because of your ignorance is my feeling behind a lot of this bullshit that's going on with these distilleries. So if you have any heart and taste and you like Bunnahabhain the way it is, you like Tobermory the way it is, you like Deanston the way it is, write to Heineken and tell them, do not chill filter or color your whiskey. I'm telling you, if you don't, you're asking for trouble in the future, in the very near future. We've already seen what Brown-Forman is doing with Glendronach. We don't want these guys doing it across the board, and they will do it across the board just for a sliver piece of that Far East market, and I think it's BS. So don't get me on my soapbox, because I will jump off of it here in a second. You really need to take notes on your next blend for sure, man. Definitely on more of the details there if you can. No, that's cool, man. With the Dalwhinnie, I definitely think it's a good idea. I might try that. Let's see, 20. Uh-oh, hey Leo Shav, good to see you, man. I'm not sure where that 20 is coming from, but give me some. Yeah, 20 on the percent would be a 1/5. Yes, sorry. Yeah, I'm not a math major, but the Glen Scotia Victoriana, that was a good one. Yes. 50% Deanston, 20% Lafroig, 10 Talisker, 20 Kleinlich, and like a blend of Kleinlich and Enoch. So 10 and 10. So 50 Deanston, 20 Lafroig, 10 Talisker, 10 Kleinlich, and 10 Enoch, it sounds like. Interesting. Oh wow, I'll have to go back and see what was his initial. Oh, the Deanston, the that 2008 Bordeaux. Yeah. Okay. The cast strength 10. Okay, and the Talisker 10. That sounds like that would be pretty tasty, man. I think you came up with something on your own there. See, that's the way to do it. That's just what's fun about this hobby is like, we can kick back and just try these different things and see what happens. This Clonleash 14 is great nose on its own, but I'm thinking I might try a little bit of that Torvig just to see what happens. I don't. It might be a bit of a mess, but the problem is the market has potential to eclipse the others. Agree with you, by the way. Yeah. I saw that off the video too. On top of Glendronach chill filtering, this is depressing. Yeah, and isn't that crazy, man? I'm like, if you're gonna, I mean, this is why I mean, right off the bat, as soon as I heard him say that, I wrote literally like a typed message to Heineken, just begging them, please, if you are gonna buy Tobermory, Bunnahabhain, and which is crazy to think about, Deanston. Deanston, Bunnahabhain, and Tobermory is three of the distilleries that lately I've been giving praise to because they do the craft the right way. They don't bullshit and belittle their customers. The consumer, it just doesn't make sense to start coloring and chill filtering all this. It just doesn't. No, I appreciate it, man. Good to see you there, Dustin. The market is for smooth wood. Yeah, I mean, I'm all about smooth, but it's got to be, yeah, stuck up all you can is for real. It you know, it's about the experience and the craft too. It's not all about appeasing the Chinese. I'm so sick of everyone just because the Chinese have all these people. It's not like we have to like cater to their every whim to get the market over there and Far East Asia. It there's other ways. I mean, like he said, they're talking like hundreds of trillions of dollars, and I'm sure there's ways to not just cater, but you got to educate the market too. You can't just say, okay, since you guys just like watered down bullshit, this is where we're going to shovel you. We're going to shovel you mounds and mounds of crap. Teach these guys that Scotch Mist is something that we do want to see when it comes to high ABV whiskey, add water. I don't care about seeing the mist. I appreciate the mist. I want to see it. If I don't see it, I know there's a problem. That's the thing about this other market over there in Far East Asia. I don't get it. I just hope the addition of the Asian market helps the industry. But if chill filtering is an indication, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Most people don't know whiskey. I had someone tell me today a stress group. uh, on that note, I'm going to be right back. I'm going to get me a bottle of this Torveg. I think someone had a little bit of and I think Dustin's right. Where's the mist? It's like, where's the beef? Where's the fucking mist? I want my mist, damn it. I'm gonna get me a little bit of this Torvig and maybe a little bit of this Kleinleash, and think about maybe something else that might go with this. I think you guys had. Uh, I wish, man. I would definitely have my field day over there. Let me see if I can find this bottle real fast. I'll be right back, guys. Give me 1 second. I brought back a few bottles, as you can see. We've got this one might be interesting to take a look at with the Clonleash 14 on the side as the Benedict Smoky 10. This one's good by itself, but you know, It's also 46%. It's got a lot going on in itself, but you never know. It might be a little bit of help. Still got a lot of this. I haven't even really hit much of this one yet, but this one's pretty good out of the gate. This one is the. I mean, it's funny because they call it heavily peated. I don't think I would say that because it goes down to 16 ppm after the initial 55 to 60, flux. It tastes more like a lighter, I'd say a medium peat level. Not as strong as an Ardbeg 10 or Lafroig, but it is well done. So this might be a fun one to do with it, as well as someone. I think Mr. Steven mentioned that maybe a little bit of. I don't have the 12, but I have the Virgin Oak. A little bit of the heel left here. This might be a good mix somehow with this. I'm wondering how we should do this. Maybe do the Benric versus the Torvig with it, with a little bit of each one having Deanston. It's kind of a tough way to look at this. I'm not sure the best way. More demand will not help the market in any way. Exhibit A is the bourbon market. May help if demand falls out later at a later time, since they will be a huge supply. Yeah, I'm hoping that it's just. I mean, whiskey is kind of come and gone. I know a lot of people now are huge on vodkas, Armagnacs. What else? Mezcals. Like Mezcal, Armagnac, and vodka seems to be ruling the liquor world. And if that stays for a while, maybe liquor will kind of die a little bit if we're lucky. I don't know, man. I hope so. Brand ambassadors need to hire Ralphie to lecture the protective. Yeah, for sure, man. I'm so glad he's on our side. Without people like Ralphie and folks that are not willing to get the hook of being McKellen's or Dalmore or whoever, fill in the blank, their whipping boy. Thankfully there's lots of us that are huge fans of whiskey in general. I mean, if you ask me my favorite distillery, I could not give you one, to be honest with you. I can think of 10 distilleries that I love, and that's the way it should stay, I think. We're not in anyone's pocket. We're not in anyone's, corner per se. I mean, I do have some favorites. I like, I do like Ardbeg. I do like Lafroig. I do like Lagavulin a whole lot. I do love Glen Scotia. Springbank is in my top. Kilchoman. Even some of these newer guys, like Duff Mill is doing a pretty damn good job with the new distillery business. But I just want to keep the craft right. That's the whole thing. So Heineken's buying out Distill Group. They're talking seriously about it, man. And I think guys should write to them right now before it's too late. And it is, if you tell your friends, spread the word, say, hey, if you do buy these distilleries, and they are beloved, in my opinion, don't chill filter and don't color. That's all we're asking. We're not asking for $1 million. We're not asking for you to make some special Abyssinian cask or any of that bullshit. We're just asking you to not color it and not chill filter it. Pretty damn straightforward. There are more cranes constructing new rick houses in Kentucky than bourbon barrels. Okay, not exactly. The same thing's happening in Scotland. History is going faster than it can stand. Maybe that's true. I have seen a lot of these small distilleries pop up lately. It's kind of weird, but maybe we'll get some quality, out of the 30 new ones we get. I'll be happy with 3 damn good ones, or 5. Let's say 5 damn good ones that stay the test of time. That would be awesome. I'd be happy. What we need is another 70s through the 90s when great whiskey was prevalent and cheap due to low demand. That would be awesome. I'm hearing you, man. I think it's coming. I do think that trends will like I said, tell me if I'm wrong, but I've seen vodka, Armagnac, and Mezcal being the 3 big pushes for and gin in general, being like pushes for the whiskey like craze. I'm sure it will revolve, like a door, like the revolving door does. But I'm hoping that it. Yeah, I want to definitely a happy medium where we don't lose Ardbeg in the '90s. We don't lose some of these, but we don't see the craziness that we're seeing from Brown Foreman and Heineken possibly buying these burn distilled guys. That would be crazy. I mean, thank God for Glen Alecky and Bunnahaven and Edgedour. I'm going to be buying a shitload of Edgedour, I tell you that. I just need to unload my expensive bourbon before the bottom falls out. I hear you there, man. I certainly would because I mean I don't know if it's going to crash. I doubt. I mean, bourbon being American, I don't think will fall out here. But if you're looking at international sales, that might be an issue. Um, Same with Scotch. I don't think Scotch will die per se, but with it being as huge overseas from Scotland, I don't know if it'll stay that way. But no, Diageo does not own Torveg. Torveg is owned by. Let me pull up my trusty cheat sheet here that I love to use. Torveg is the new distillery that is owned by Mossburn Distillers. They are located in the Isle of Skye. They're an island distillery. So look up Mossburn, and you'll get some information about their ownership there. I'm in the minority here in Hawaii that don't drink Heineken. I like some of their beers. The Newcastle Nut Brown Ale is a damn good beer. They own that part, and they do a good job with. I like a Heineken beer, but I just don't want to see them chill filtrate or color whiskey. It's just crazy. Banana flavored bourbon. Ugh, that sounds horrible. That's count. I'm not can remotely meet demand even take 1% of the whiskey market. I was just wondering if they were growing and growing and growing, like if it was like a craze, like it was with whiskey. The last. I mean, it's kind of died out. I mean, things have gotten. It's kind of gotten more broad. It seems like things are kind of branching out. I don't know. Maybe not as much as I was hoping or thought, but it seemed like it was growing farther than 1% of the market. But I don't know. Seltzers are that's true. Seltzers are a big thing when it comes to the regular alcohol crushes too. If you go, I mean, here on the East Coast, crushes are a big thing with alcohol drinkers in general. It's interesting to see. So with the TV. Oh my gosh, you guys have got an early start. It looks like. Yes. Yeah, it's the big and seems like they're doing pretty well. Is Brown Foreman the guys behind Jack Daniels? Jack Daniels? God, I haven't looked up anything Jack Daniels in ages, but I think yes, Brown Foreman does own Jack Daniels. That's true. Yes. I think Scotch has not plateaued yet. If you're looking for a growth market, look at Irish. So you think the Scotch market's still growing? I don't know, man. I mean, it's almost like it's been overly abused. It's almost like it's like a sad. I'm trying to think of without being graphic. Used and abused is like the two words that come to mind off the top of the bat with the Scotch market. But you can only, I mean, it's like it's been corporified. If that's not, I know it's not a word, but it's been saturated so much that I think to me it's reached a plateau when it comes to like I mean, how much can you fucking soak it? That ring of the towel and the twisting and I think with Glendronach's bullshit lately, I think we finally have found that you can only squeeze that fucking penny and get the blood out of it so much that it's been wringed dry. Move on, people. Move on elsewhere. Get it to drink, not to fucking resell. Mezcal can't scale if demand goes up there. They can't make more of it. That's like saying though that moonshine can't scale, and it could scale if it's with the right equipment, the right processing. I mean, maybe the knowledge isn't there to scale it yet, but anything can be scaled if it makes money, and it's making money right now. I know it's between Mezcal and Armagnac and gin slash just I don't know. It seems like it's yeah. No, I hear you, man. Sure, it's getting more popular locally. All my local barley sweet spots were cleaned up, dude. Springbank local barley has been like overly out there 3 years ago to me. I mean, 5 years ago, you could get it. I'm talking about the 16 year, you could get it reasonably without a bunch of hassle. But 4 years ago, I'd say is when it started just getting silly. And then definitely last year or so, it's just been ridiculous. Where why even bother? Because yeah, I mean, a lot of these people. What kills me about the whiskey hobby is what I like to think of it as. The whiskey hobby is become like just sad because people are buying shit just to resell. You're not buying it to drink it, and if you don't buy it to drink it, it's what kills a lot of this any market to me. And I must hope that enough people have bought. It's like the Xbox bullshit right now. I've been looking at getting a new Xbox Series X for over a year, and it's just these clumsy, oafs basically that sit behind in their mom's basement and they buy a shitload of these boxes. They store it up and they think they're going to resell them for $1,000 a piece, but hopefully, like me, I'm not willing to spend this asinine bullshit money on this stuff, and we're just going to let it sit, and we're going to let it sit until people get fed up with it sitting in their stacked up in their basement, and people that really want to sell it for a reasonable price, and for people like me that want to drink it, they sell it for maybe markup. If you want it $50, $100, sure, I'll spend it. But unless it's like something like that, not gonna pull the trigger. And hopefully enough smart people are not willing to pull the trigger for that. If they are pulling the trigger, then we're gonna be in this hellhole for a lot longer than I think. But I'm hoping people wise up and don't spend the crazy money on these secondary market prices. But all whiskey is growing from all places and all styles. I'm hoping you're wrong, man, but maybe you're right. I don't know, but it's crazy. Blue Moon is my go-to beer. Gonna goose on. I might even try. That sucks, man. I hope you're wrong, man, but uh, I just don't see why. There's got to be just like it was, like you said in the '90s, where it kind of went to the point where it was still selling, but yet it was so just not popular. It's got to come back to those days again. Now, the plants needed for mezcal to take the plants. Okay, needed for mezcal to take decades to grow. You can't scale it in 20 years, man, minimum. That's pretty crazy. Well, better find a better way to do your craft then. It's had changed the flavor profile of mezcal. Would take industry changes to do that. Yeah, that's the thing. It's they're gonna have to find ways to better efficiently craft it. I'm sure they're taking chances, experimenting. We'll see. Hopefully, Growing agave is much different than growing corn or barley. No, I hear you there, man. I definitely not disagreeing. I just hope someone finds something else to that they can, produce that's, I mean, it's getting popular because they can get these crazy old bottles for 200 or less. That doesn't scale either. Yeah, find something that does scale, please. That's not whiskey. That's all I'm asking. There's got to be something for you money grubbing chumps to go, chase out there. Is all I'm saying. Yeah, 1,200 Yeezys aren't worth it. Issue with the Xbox PlayStation isn't people buying them up. It's like shit. No, it's also the people buying them up, dude. I'm telling you, because I see them on the market all the time for $1,000 to $700 when the MSRP is $500. There are billions of them out there. Billions of them out there right now. I can go and pull a site up that has hundreds of them sitting there for $700 to $1,000, but I'm just thankful that most people are not willing to spend that kind of money on these. And surely after 6 more months of waiting, they'll finally figure it out. They're just going to sit there and gather dust until they find a decent price that people can afford or be willing to, spend on these things. But we'll see how it goes. I have to say, Scotch and Peat Scotch is not a thing around me, so I feel like I'm only buying it. Where are you at, Chris? If you don't mind me asking, where's your location? Because you're lucky if you're in a place that Scotch and Peat Scotch doesn't sell. Because, man, I tell you what, here in Maryland, it sells like fucking hotcakes. It seems like way too much labor involved with mezcals. Liquor isn't very like Scotch or bourbon. As you know, I'll pay the piper to play in the secondary Scotch market, but I'll stop at the bourbon. That's the insane market. Scotch isn't there yet. It feels like it's becoming that though, Stephen. That's I mean, it feels like the farther along we go on this ride, and the farther along we see people buying up, just these committee releases for Ardbeg even, or the Feshil releases. I mean, they go like hotcakes. Like in the split second they go on sale. I'd love to. I mean, that new Lagavulin 26 cast strength. I don't think it's going to be $1,500, but it's going to go for probably a pretty good penny. But if you don't get it right off the bat, the secondary market's going to be insane on those. I don't know, man. I'm hoping it gets better before it gets worse. Agave takes a long time to grow. Yeah. No, I hear you there. True, the internet has become a boom. It's insane. Dusty bottles are a prize for sure. If Sony or Microsoft can make enough, people would just get them as a chip shortage. I'm telling you, it's not. I've seen people buy these by just the astronomical amounts of just sitting on shelves, but they're $700 to thousands of dollars, and I'm not gonna pay for it, man. I've been offered $400 for my 1-year-old GPU on my desktop. That's what we'll use. I spent $1,200 on my desktop total. I'm not saying there's not a chip shortage. I'm just saying that if you're looking at an Xbox or a PS5, it's not just because of bullshit chipsets. It's because people are also buying these off the shelves and trying to resell them. I see thousands of them online. If you do a search right now, you can see thousands of them right now being resold. And it's the same shit with this whiskey buying. People buy this shit to resell it. It's not a fucking it's not a mystery. It's well known. It's just I think it's bullshit though. It all sells here in LA. It's just craft beer is massive here. Yeah, all of the Lagavulins we get here in the US are secondary. All Lagavulins we get in the US are secondary. I'm not sure which you're referring to, but the 16s I guarantee you are not, because I can get them for $70 all day long in most places around here. At least they're not expensive. Like Glendronix here are expensive. You're going to shell out $75 for the 12-year here, but thankfully the Lagavulin 16 is cheap all day long. I'm about 20 minutes south of Quad Cities in Illinois. Okay. Illinois. Is it rural Illinois? Maybe that's why. But yeah, if you're like south of Chicago, if you're closer to like the Indiana Kentucky border, um, south, I can see why Scotch peated Scotch wouldn't be selling there. I love the secretary markup. But I'll never buy without it. I also buy Scotch bottles from individuals for a better price than I can buy from the lodge. Yeah, I mean, if it depends on what you consider the secondary market. Like if you're talking like I don't know. I mean, I just don't see uh, the hundreds of dollars that people charge when the bottle should be going for 100. That's to me not good no matter how. I mean, yeah, you might have the option to buy it, but you're really killing all these little guys that think and then would agree with me that $100 for that bottle is more than fair and more than worth it, and it's not worth $500. But I don't know. You can look at it a hundred different ways. Non-core. Well, non-core. I'm not sure. Oh, the Lagavulin thing. Yeah. No, I hear you there. The jazz festivals. Yeah, I mean, I agree. See. I don't like any of that crap. The jazz festival prices for that. Yeah. No, I agree. True. True. That's the crazy. Y'all can have your ex occupy my pond. Oh, 20 minutes from Iowa. Wow, you're on the other side of Illinois. Okay, yeah. Rural Illinois would be definitely a half hour from Eric. You talking about Eric Waite, I think his name is, that does the wine and whiskey tasting stuff. If I remember correctly, I think he might be from out there. I think he went down to visit with the Scotch test dummies at some point, probably not too far if from them if he's up north that way. But yeah, collectors versus consumers. I mean, that's the thing. I like to do both. I mean, that's the funny. I mean, this is why a lot of. I mean, I do have a lot of these are open bottles, but some of these are dead. But I like to collect them too. But anything I collect, I consume. So I'm doing both, and that's what I wish that most people did. I wish I don't look down on collecting because I like to collect, but on one hand, on the other hand, though, it's like if you're gonna collect it, drink the damn shit. Don't collect it and let it sit on the shelf and gather dust, and then sell it to some poor schlub that is willing to spend $600 just to have a little nip of that, while you're like reaping all these rewards for just being a lucky guy to find it, to resell it. That just kills me. Oh, you lucky mother. A 2007 30-year Talisker, man. Woo, that sounds good. On that note, I'm gonna try. I'm thinking we got our Klein Leash 14. I'm gonna give a little bit of a dab of this Deanston Virgin Oak just for a little bit of a pizzazz. On this one, I'm going to go with a Torvig just to see. Then I might do the same thing, but do it with a Benriach 10 and see what we get. Give it a little bit of a boost there. So we've got a bit of a Clownleash 14. We've got a skosh of the Deanston Virgin Oak that does have a really nice oily presence. This might be a little too much. If this is too much oily waxiness, I might step back and do a different blend on the next one. But I did go with this Torvig, which is that peated Islands distillery new. And well, they actually do their I just noticed that they actually do their notes in both English and Scottish Gaelic. That's kind of cool. Wow. Okay. Smoky, briny kind of feel. with the clown leash, this might actually work. Let's take a little see. Ooh, okay. It's nice, kind of a blend, I'd say. It's got the fruit of the clown leash is still there. The vanilla is still there. I do get the peat up front too from the Torvig, I think. Huh. Interesting. Let's see what we get with the. Runs a little fast, but when I'm mixing an NAS with another NAS, well, we'll say this is definitely a 4-year whiskey. I think 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, we'll say 4 to 5-year whiskey with a 14. You're going to get a bit of faster runs in the legs, but it's not bad. It's got some slow runners too. There's 3 slow runners right there. Matter of fact, I'm watching. I'm just looking to see if they talk about coloring or chill filtration. Oh, the great thing about Torvig, they do not color, they do not chill filtrate. Bottle at 46% with no chill filtration, no coloring, and a residual phenol level of 16 ppm. So I've got 16 ppm. I've got the oiliness of a Deanston Virgin Oak with all the nice little minerality and craft going on there, and I just kind of gave it a foundation of a Clown Leash 14. So this could be a good little blend. Let's see what we get. A little bit of the barbecues on the nose still. Peppermint still there. Let's see what we get. Wow, okay. That's a bit different. Okay. I'm thinking I don't mind the texture, the waxiness of the Clown Leash, the oiliness of the Deanston isn't the problem. I'm wondering if the minerality of the Deanston Virgin Oak and the herbalness of the Torvig is maybe conflicting with each other. It's not bad per se, it's just a bit different. It might be a little too it might be a little too I think the combination of the Torvig and the Deanston might be fighting. I think it comes off with a bit of like almost like a toothpaste spearmint kind of feel, which I'm not really digging that much. So let me try something a little different here. This time, and the Torvig's good by itself. It's I don't think it's doing well with this. So this time let's try a little bit of that Deanston Virgin Oak as a base. Definitely a little more of the Clown Leash 14. This time, let's go with the Benriach 10 Smoky 10 3-cask mature. This is the one that has the Jamaican rum cask, bourbon cask maturation with virgin oak. Virgin oak with this should not be too far. Also, I like the mouth coat of the Deanston a little better, but this one's got that Jamaican rum, and it's got a bit of the more of a bourbon cask feel to it too. So with that and the Klein Leash and the virgin oak, maybe hope it's not too oaky or too much of that woody bite. Sometimes that happens when you go too far one way, but we'll see what we get out of this. It's Benronic 10, Smoky 10's good by itself as well. I'm just trying to see what we do with a combination of something else. Let me have a little bit of a palate cleanser, a little water, just to see. A little chip. Sorry, I didn't want to eat and let you guys hear me crunch the whole time. Okay. This is a better nose, I think. Definitely get pineapple. Well, peat smoke, which is nice. Ooh. I am getting a little bit of that minerality, a bit of that savoriness on the virgin oak side, I think, with this. I'm getting the fruits and the vanillas that I get off the Klein Leash. It's got the peaches and the apples and the... This might be a better deal. Let's see what we get. Get a little spice, a little white pepper on the nose. Now we're talking. That's a much better blend. I like the mouth coat you get with the Deanston. I like the smoky profile and some of the fruits that you get with the and the spice that you get off of the Benronic 10 with the waxiness, mouthfeel, vanilla, and fruit that you get off the Klein Leash. This is actually a pretty good one. So it does pay to, if you do have, you don't have to spend a whole lot to do this kind of thing. The Klein Leash 14 you can get pretty reasonable, and it does make a great base for having a little fun on the side. In these two, I'm pretty sure that these are both under 100, so you can, and whiskeys that you would kind of get really on your own anyway on the side. So it's kind of fun to dabble with some of this stuff. Let's see if I missed add more peat. Yeah. Let me go back here. I think I missed some of you guys. There we go. I agree with you there, Juan. Collectors for, yep. Not sure what the difference there is with a guy who buys to sell or a guy that buys to drink. There's a huge difference because the guy that's buying to sell is just doing it for, inflating the market and making money. And the guy who's buying it to drink is actually enjoying what the craft and what the whole purpose of the whiskey production cycle was for. I mean, that's just to me. So I'm not, I'm a capitalist more so than probably half of you guys. But on the other hand, it's like I do want to make sure that it's not just, it's not all about the money at the same time. I don't know. As there was a boom in comics collecting, eventually the boom was bust saturation. Yeah, it ebbs and flows just with like the tide does with a lot of this stuff. Natural Science, Rush, great song. Check it out if you don't know it. Natural Science is one of my favorites. I hate to plug that one, but man, it kind of brought to mind the whole premise of what we're talking about here. Collecting is fun, but every bottle I buy, I open within a week or two. Same here, man. When bottles get too low, and I just decant them in smaller bottles. That's the way to do it, man. Can't wait to sell my old wild turkey to bourbon fools. He will pay anything for it. And it was less than a $20 whiskey. Well, I'm not gonna talk bad about reselling bourbon. That's all you, man. I'm with you on I'm with you. All bottles are open. What's the point? Yeah, I can get buying a lot of backups if you find a gem. Buy tons of rare breed. 101 bottle is sexy. Okay. Yeah, that's true. Add more peat. Hmm. Maybe more peat to this. Ooh, maybe not a bad idea. You've got me thinking about something possibly. What you thinking about pouring there? 101 wild turkey. Oh wow. That's true. Weller's huge. Too big for their britches, probably, but we'll see. Between 15-year-old bourbon, meaning to get back to or something good. Maybe a boring 20-something year Hinken. Ooh. Oh, we go all night, buddy. Good to see you there, Daniel. I've got a backup Kleinly Select Reserve Batch 2 from Mike. I'll pour that. They have more than one batches of that shit? Are you serious? Because I know they had a Game of Thrones release, but I didn't know they had a different batch release on that. Mine's probably one if I because I had luckily one of the early ones. I'm pretty sure, but is there a way to tell batch one from batch two, etc. on that, Dustin? I'm just curious. Are you calling me white trash? I have a bunch of old label 2013s, but it's pretty good. My whole body aches. Oh no. Oh, what has he been doing? If I buy 20 bottles of scotch, I'm sorry, if I buy 20 bottles of whiskey to drink or 20 to sell, I still bought 20 bottles. In one case, those 20 bottles can be bought with 20 others. Yeah, I mean that's my problem with it is I don't want you over complicating the market by buying all the stuff up and reselling it. If you're buying it to drink it, that's great. I commend you. I think you're great. If you're buying it to resell it, you're just boosting it, making it pain for me to try to get, and I'm just trying to taste the damn shit. I'm not trying to make a dollar off of it. I've never bought a whiskey trying to make a dollar off of it. I know some of you guys do that shit, and I'm all pro capitalism. I'm a Republican, to be honest with you. I'm fine with that on one hand, but on the other hand, it's like there should be kind of a it's a tightrope you gotta walk because you're also screwing a shitload of people out of just trying some of the basic stuff because it's so fucking hard to find because so many people go and try to buy it up to resell it. So it's a vicious circle that I wish we could get out of. Is all I'm saying. I haven't been in the gym in a while. It might get me the lift. Oh man, kept us on all the way. I found retail. Not well. Yeah, I'm torn. I'm torn on this subject. I'm really torn. I don't understand why people pay the amount they do for Weller. That's a good point. And same thing with the Pappy shit and all the other, bourbons out there that are way overpriced. Pain equals gain. That's right. When it comes to exercise and doing the deal, beauty is pain in general. It seems like it's crazy what people are paying for certain bourbons and just bourbon. Yeah. Thank God I like Scotch a lot more than I do bourbon because if it was the reverse and if I like bourbon like more than I like Scotch, I would be paying some just crazy ass prices for stuff that's way over already. So I guess I should be thankful when it comes to that, at least. I just poured a bottle and I couldn't remember what I poured. Well, that's not a good whiskey. I wonder what you poured, Daniel. You must be tapping into the crazy stuff. It sounds like. No, this Clownleash was a special Diageo release from 2015. The origin that was originally about 800 cast strength blend of 15 to 35-year-old stuff. It sounds beautiful. I'm not sure where you're going with this, but I would love a Clownleash Diageo special from 2015 that's cast strength. That sounds great. Oh, I'm sorry. You're talking about the Select Reserve. Gotcha. Yes, that's the. I have seen that bottle. You're talking about that old Select Reserve, not the Game of Thrones shit, but the old version. Yeah, that's the crazy stuff there. No, I know what you mean. Never mind. Whole different discussion when you're talking about that one. Yeah, I would never buy whiskey to make $1 from, buy it to make $100 from Fools. There you go. It's the system of how distributors get bottles of stores and what. I think the whole system is bullshit, man. This is why we have tariffs. This is why we have crazy prices for cast strength whiskey. This is why you can't buy whiskey if it's Sunday. I mean, I can go on, and I have no issues with religion and all that. I'm more conservative than a lot of you guys probably when it comes to that stuff, but I do think there should be like a meet in the middle and try to make it make sense for more people. But I don't know. I know a guy who's made 15,000 bottle. Who's got 15,000 bottles of scotch that he bought to per drink, but he'll never be able to drink it all. He made it a lot harder for others to drink those bottles. Well, that's the thing. If you've spent 15 I'm sorry, not spent. If you've acquired 15,000 bottles of scotch and you have not opened them to drink yet, that's as bad as the guy that's buying to resell, to be honest with you, because you're right. He's never going to be able to drink it all. I'm not that guy. I have right now open just for let you know 30 bottles. I have 30 open bottles that will be drank. I will get through. That to me is reasonable. If you have more than 50 or 100 bottles that open and you're not going to be able to get to them, you're just wasting liquor. That's just as bad as alcohol abuse. Don't do that. Better if he sold some. Yeah, but he should be reprimanded for buying that fucking much shit to drink and not be able to drink it. I mean, that to me is crazy. New Riff single barrel, a gift from someone. Not very good. Young as shit and spiky. That sounds rough, man. I'll pass on that. Alfie taught me, well, always buy 2 bottles of what you're. Yeah, now that is reasonable. Now, I'm not opposed to, getting a bottle to drink, getting a bottle to make the money that you spent on that bottle. Now that's what I call equalization. That makes sense. But if you're buying 6 bottles of Ardbeg Scorch Committee release just to resell it for 300 bottles, $300 a pop, you're a problem. If you're buying 2 bottles at 150 and you're drinking the 150 bottle and you're reselling the 150 bottle at 150 to make up the price, that to me is makes sense. If you're not doing that, then fuck you. All right. I'm with you. I was in the store this week and this guy was freaking out because they were out of the Eagle Rare. Oh man, in my head I'm thinking, what an idiot, I'm buying some Port Charlotte. There you go, man. In my case, pain equals old age. I hear you. We have tariffs because governments don't like capitalism, whining children. Yeah, that's part of the problem too. I respect your system, but don't buy a deep discount. You sell it crazy. I love whiskey. Personal story. I bought a 60 bottle of Madeira tonight. Drink it for Drink it first before anything else. Went through Malt, Muser, until it was fantastic. Sounds good to me, man. 18 bottle of Raw Turkey 101 is better than Eagle Rare. Oh, man. Now I'm comparing Madeira to miniature mature whiskeys. One of the best dishes ever made when I'm tasting. Get me more correct. Yeah, it's crazy the back and forth with this, but man, now you've got me wanting a Madeira matured whiskey. I don't have any right now. I don't think. Going through I've got a Mazzania cask. I don't have a Madeira. Oh man, I'm looking at my inventory. I'm so crazy. I'm doing like Excel spreadsheets on my inventory with I'm putting the ABV on a column. I'm putting the profile, like if it's rich or oily, smoky or vanilla, if it's grassy or herbal, and I'm giving like an amount left I have, if it's halfway done, if it's 1/3 done, if it's 2/3 done. I'm giving the type of cask it is or the age and the distillery. I've got like a whole profile of all the 30 bottles I've got open. It's kind of scary when you get to that deal. Like people do what they want with their bottles. I have 560 bottles of whiskey, and I won't be able to drink it all, but I'll open not all at this once, and I share. But I barely buy stores in the U.S. Yeah, it is what it is. If you want a stupid bottle, go try Eagle Rare 17 year. It's good if you drink it fast, but it sells for $1,200. $1,200? Hold on. Okay, now I'm about to lose it. Are you telling me there's bourbon that 17-year bourbon that people are spending $1,200 for? Does that make any sense to anybody? I just, if it was 50-year, I can understand maybe if it was like a rare, reserve release that was like a one-off 1 year deal, but we're talking like an Eagle Rare 17-year bottle. I mean, why in the world would that be $1,200? It's not computing. It's not even cast strength. What the fuck? What's wrong with you people? Not you people, but you know what I mean. Like the drinking masses. What are you drinking, Cohen? Good question. Have you seen the new LB yet? That's what boggles my mind, man. I don't know. Not yet. I plan to buy all I can when it hits this market. What's the LB you guys were talking about? LB. I'm thinking LB. It's not Luck Loman because that would be LL. LB. Long row would be LR. What's LB? I'm just curious. You're probably talking about bourbon. I have a feeling. People are paying more than $1,200 for Eagle Rare 17. It's got to be a joke. It's got to be a joke. It's got to be a joke. I'm sorry, but it's got to be a joke. There's no way, right? I'm on the second pour of the. I'm on the second pour of the mid-year. I love it, man. It's just on the shelf here. That's how dumb bourbon hunters have got. Oh my god, we've had the last 3 batches on the shelf 2 weeks ago. Someone just bought them all. Oh, the local barley. Yes, the local barley. Oh man. Now that I have context, let me go back and see what you guys were saying with the LB. The new local barley yet, yeah. With buy all the local barley when it hits the market. I mean, I had my share of the 10-year, the 10-year one that was it was partially sherry, partially bourbon cask. And I'll be honest with you guys, I know a lot of you are like fucking balls to the wall, love the local barley and all that, and I do appreciate it. I do like it for what it is, but I just don't understand the craze when there's no cask maturation. There's no, you know, finishing going on. There's no, I mean, it's great up front, local barley in your face, peat, bam, here it is. Great craft. It's great organic taste. I mean, I do feel that. I love it. The 16 year, I would love to have a bottle of that someday. I probably never will find it. It probably will never happen. But to have that 10-year under my belt and experience it, that to me was enough. I mean, that's all I needed for that. I just don't see that being, I don't know, all that outstandingly 5-star great. It was a good 4-star whiskey, I thought, but it wasn't enough for me to go balls to the wall crazy to find another bottle of it. Even if there was an old, I mean, if it was 16 year, I would definitely pull the trigger on it if it was a couple $100. But if it's like, the 10 or 9 year, I just don't see the big great thing about it. I don't know. Maybe because it's just not well aged for me. Maybe, I don't know. There are half ounce pours for flavor comparison. I feel like a dork. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh man, what are you sipping, man? The 16-year Sublime. Yeah, no, I agree. I would imagine that is Sublime whiskey, but unless it's just that 16-year, if you're shooting for the 9 or 10, is it really worth more than? I mean, the 6 years to me makes a huge fucking difference. Where I'm willing to spend a lot more money on 9 or 10 year. It's good, but it's not like I'm gonna like go crazy over trying to buy. But I don't. I miss. People like the Lagavulin 8 better than the 16 or the Distillers edition. I'm just not that type of guy. I like more of the Distillers edition or the 16 versus the 8 because I don't like straightforward peat unless there's something else interesting going on, or unless the peat is like 200, 300 ppm in my face. Then I might like it more, but I don't know. The 57% LB 10 year is one of my favorite whiskeys ever. The finish goes on for days. I need to go find what my local barley 10 year was on the ABV. I can't believe if it was 57, that'd be maybe it was. Maybe it was. Excuse me. Hmm. It's been many years since I've had it. I've got to go back and take a look to see what the ABV is on it. Um, I'll see. I'm not gonna look right now, Dustin, because it's in the back in the closet somewhere. I'd have to pull it out and try to figure out where it is and all that. But I'll look and see what the ABV. If it's like around 57, then maybe I'll try to find another one to see. I mean, I do remember enjoying it and going through the bottle fairly quickly, but hmm. I just love a maturation or a finishing on a whiskey. I'm gonna go. I'm going Lafroy Carriages Triplewood. Ooh, to finish the night. Great choice, man. That sounds beautiful. Hmm. I do love this blend I made. Decent Virgin Oak, Benriach 10, Smoky 10, Colonies 14. I'm enjoying that so far. I love that Carriages Triplewood, man. That's good. That's a good choice. Sweet or dry Madeira. It is. It is. It is fantastic. I love that whiskey. It's a hell of a lot better than that Port and Wine 2020. I'm not sure what the fuck they were thinking of with that, but that's just me. I love the Carriages Triplewood way before that Port and Wine cask any day. I can't wait. Has anyone had the new Carriages that just dropped? I'm not sure if it's available anywhere yet, but I have seen it hit the market. Has anyone had the new 2020 Carriages PX? Because that is going to be on my radar. Huge, medium dry. That makes sense. 57 is if it's been years. Yeah, I think it might have been. Maybe it was up there. I'll have to look. Just poured a 12 Lagavulin 2015. Woo, probably my favorite 12-year due to the coastal notes. That one I have not had, I don't think. I had the 2016 12-year. It was still pretty good. To me, I remember cotton candy and I remember some really crazy nice notes. It was I didn't get the coastal thing. I got like a lot of great sweetness with that pixie dust, cotton candy, strawberry taffy. Oh man, it was really good in a weird way, very intense but very sweet up front. 2016 is what I'm remembering, but hopefully I'll get a chance to try that 12-year at some point. I'm not sure if I'll ever try it, but age stop. I'm like Dustin. I'm an age snob, but I can make exceptions if there's an exception to the rule there. I like old vintage port over 20 years, and it's way different than normal port. Sherry or Madeira. Hey Cohen, I have a question for you. When you say port, to me, you're not talking really the sherry versus Madeira. You're talking like tawny versus ruby on the port. Are are you a big tawny port fan, or do you like the ruby port better? I'm just curious on that. When you're talking the port size, yeah, 12 2017 made me fall in love with Pete. That's a good bottle, man. I'm wondering if you're talking port on the port side, ruby versus tawny. It sounds like you're a tawny fan. I like the younger port better. I like the real fruity. Uh, I like the younger port with older whiskey, like a ruby port finish per se with like an older whiskey. That to me is like a really good marriage. Old vintage port with cigars are the best pairing. I have to try a tawny port with a cigar sometime. I prefer the ruby because of the sweetness and the intensity. Usually, like I think the Carriages 2013 for Freud and the Bordeaux are probably ruby. I've had some tawny stuff. I think it like the Glendronach port was. I think it was a tawny that I had. I'm just not as into those for some reason. I'm not sure why, but I like the fruity ones. Well, guys, I have to call it a day because it is getting kind of late, and it's a school night, which means it's a work night, which means we got to go to work tomorrow, unfortunately. But talking about port by itself, not in whiskey, gotcha. But I really appreciate the conversation. It's always great with you guys. I always have a great, huge fun. Please give me a thumbs up before you go. Subscribe if you haven't already. We're definitely pretty much on Bam Bam every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern on board, and I will try to throw another sideshow if I can. I got to get with Steven on and I appreciate it too, man. On the it's more in line with tawny, but it's neither. It's a different thing when it gets old. The flavor changes completely, not a fan of regular ports. Okay, gotcha. I'll take another look at that. No, always a pleasure with you guys. I really appreciate it, and I'm gonna try to get with Steven on the side. We got to do. I've got this old Benevis from a friend of ours. Kenny gave us a pour, and I know Steven's got it. We've got to do a Benevis night at some point. I've got to get my ass out to Tennessee to hang out with Steven and the guys at some point if they'll have me. It'd be nice to do a trip out there. I'm not sure when, where, how, but hopefully we can get it done now. I've got I'm double vaxxed. I even have it official. Where's my I've got my oh, there it is. I've got my lanyard. I actually had to go into work today in DC, but it's official. We got the Moderna double vax, baby. So please let me know and this is for anybody. If you're in for if you're up for a visit, maybe a meet of the minds, a fellow tasting. I don't mind traveling a little bit to an extent. Dustin, I will be in the Louisville area in June, late June. So maybe I'm not sure how, when, where. I'm be traveling with family, so it's always kind of tricky. But you never know. Maybe we can figure out a way to make it happen. If I tell you I'm in Kentucky, maybe you'll make a trip and maybe we can do a little show. But I'd be up for meeting anybody, having a dram, having a little trade off. I've got plenty to bring with me, and do a little tasting, maybe a little live show on the side. Hell, you never know. It'd be fun to do. And I really appreciate all you guys coming and having a little fun. I've been waiting to do a road trip to the Ville. There you go. Well, I'll be there in late June. We can talk about it on the side, maybe. Um, yeah, I'll be not necessarily in the city Louisville. My parents live in Edmonson County and Breckinridge County, which is in the sticks in Kentucky. So I'll be visiting them here in late June. But maybe my dad is in Breckinridge County. It's kind of a distant, I know, for you guys to travel that way. But if you're up for it, it'd be a hell of a lot of fun. And I know he also is cool on company and stuff. So maybe we can make something happen. You never know. I'll definitely get you guys on the side and give you an itinerary on where I'll be. But if not that time, in June, maybe a different time, I'll be going. I know I'm planning a trip to a family trip in August, but maybe outside of August, a different month, the way we can figure out something. I'm definitely up for it. That's about an hour further away, it looks like. Yeah, it's not easy, but we can maybe find out something. The Bills is really close to lots of people, places to visit, though. The we can figure out something, and for those guys even going into California, if I ever get it to make it out that way, you never know. I'll definitely be letting you know that I'll be traveling around. I'm eager to get out since we are all safer and able to not worry about you know affecting anybody else when we're getting around. You too, man. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys. If I don't see you before next Tuesday, definitely next Tuesday. Have a dram for me. I'll be finishing this one out. And this Clownley's 14, Benoit 10, Smoky, and decent Virgin Oak is not bad. Not bad at all. That was a good dram compared to the Torveg. Didn't do as well with it. But I think only because of the herbal brininess I was getting with it, I think was kind of combating with the Deanston. But this one with the smoke, I think is a nice marriage. See you next week, guys. And if not beforehand, don't forget Telex at Outlook.com on the side if you want to chat about maybe a meetup or a whiskey festival or whatever you want to call it. But hope to see you guys on the side sometime soon. Sláinte.